Alright, I'm fucking back, team. Oh, thanks to resub Ark, TK, and Jackie. I really hope aliens have visited Earth or will visit Earth at some fucking point. That'd be so cool. Thanks to the gift sub Kioxy. That means it's okay to leak. I'm still not gonna give away the guy's info, but yeah. I don't even know how much I can even say without getting whatever in trouble, but yeah. He would tell my parents all kinds of goofy shit about, like, military. He was big into the alien stuff, like I said. I would have loved to ask him about it. It's a fucking shame. UFO busted? I mean, I don't really need to go into the science and math of why a UFO is probably not an alien visiting us. I can just kind of rationalize that. The man who vanished into thin air.
In 2006.
Hold on, let me fact check this before we get in there. A former Canadian Defense Prime Minister confirmed that aliens live... No way. Canada's ex-defense minister. Aliens would give us more tech if we'd stop wars. What? He doesn't seem overly reliable. Paul Hellyer, who has long insisted that aliens had visited Earth for many years, says that when aliens saw the atomic bomb, they decided that we were a great threat to the cosmos. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm starting to have my doubts. I don't want to disturb what you're doing, but there are 4 different species of aliens that have been visiting Earth for thousands of years. The Star of Bethlehem is one of God's flying saucers, he added. And he used to believe that there would be between 2 and 12 different species of alien, but now he's received reports that there might be as many as 80. Using this guy as an argument to prove that aliens live on Earth is probably the worst person you could have represent that. Holy shit. This is nuts. Thank you for telling me about this guy. I want to read more about him. Paul Hellyer. Holy shit, he's 97. Alright, let's run it.
27-year-old Brian Shaffer walked to a bar and was never seen again.
Hey, you the 5 gift subs again.
The case
looking
has since received widespread attention and a thorough investigation. But to date...
Stop bringing up Bob Lazar. Everything I've seen from Bob Lazar seems wildly wildly hard to believe. I don't know, I was having such a hard time saying that. I've looked up the whole Bob Lazar thing. Unless maybe I'm looking at biased sources or something, but everything I've seen seems like there's a real lack of hard evidence and credible source. Unless there's new shit from Bob Lazar over the last couple years. I also saw that, Remy. Israeli space security chief recently said that aliens exist in a galactic federation. Right? Yeah, the former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist in a galactic federation. Oh, I don't know why I keep fucking up that word. I hope all this shit is true, to be honest.
When classes ended on Friday, March 31st, 2006, it signaled the start of spring break for Brian Shaffer, a medical student at the Ohio State University. He started his big break from school by having dinner at the Outback Steakhouse with his father, Randy Shaffer. Randy later stated that he never understood why Brian would go out that evening. He seemed exhausted from studying so much. After dinner, Brian met with his friend, William Clint.
You believe
Florence,
cursed milk but not Bob Lazar? I never believed cursed milk. I was asking for the science behind it. I didn't realize it was a fucking prank.
And de-stressing. The two walked to the Ugly Tuna Saloona, an indoors bar located in Columbus, Ohio. Brian invited his brother, Derek, and Derek's wife, Maureen, but they had gone to a show at the Funny Bone Comedy Club, which ran late. They left the show tired and decided to drive straight home, passing on Brian's invitation. At around 10 p.m., Brian called his girlfriend, Alexis Wagner, who was also a second-year medical student at the same university. She and Brian were scheduled to fly to Miami on Monday morning, so she decided to visit her family in Toledo before leaving. After his call with Alexis, Brian and Clint went bar hopping, visiting several nearby locations, such as the Short North Tavern and the Brothers Bar. They had a shot of hard liquor at each stop, while working their way down to the Arena District. At around midnight, the two met with one of Clint's friends, Meredith Reed, who drove them back to the Ugly Tuna Saloona for a final round of drinks.
Such a cool name, Ugly Tuna Saloona. Sounds like the worst place to get drinks.
At around 1:15 a.m., security footage captures Brian, Clint, and Meredith making their way up the escalator to the Ugly Tuna Saloona. At some point after this, Clint and Brian are back outside the bar talking to two girls, Amber Ruick and Brighton Zatko. While Clint spoke to Amber, Brian was left to speak to Brighton. Apparently Brian was pretty flirty.
Uh-oh.
Reportedly, he had even kissed Brighton's neck.
Whoa! Okay, so he cheated.
At 1:57 a.m., Brian can be seen in a small alcove, just off camera next to a beige door. And it would be the last time Brian was ever seen again. It was here that Brighton put her number in Brian's phone, and then walked back inside the Ugly Tuna Saloona to use the restroom.
And the bitch pickle.
When she returned, Brian was nowhere to be found. Since it was common for Brian to occasionally separate from his friends, Clint and Meredith didn't think much of it. However, when the bar closed at 2 a.m., they were left outside waiting for Brian.
Got sucked into his phone?
They assumed that Brian must have wandered home. After all, his apartment was only located a few blocks away. He never reappeared. Brian missed his flight to Miami the following Monday and was officially declared missing.
I'm not sure if we have metric. Thanks to the resub, Nancy Drew. It's
when
possible
police
to go,
began
maybe.
searching for Brian, they started by looking through the building's security cameras. By now, it's well known that nobody from that night ever saw Brian leave the building, and the security footage did nothing but support that narrative. Throughout all the footage, police were able to account for every single patron that entered the building, and every single one of them left except for Brian. Once the police found no evidence of Brian's whereabouts from the footage,
is he still there, maybe?
Their search efforts began to spread. Officers took to the streets, sometimes with police dogs, searching throughout the city, including inside dumpsters and waste containers. They questioned residents and posted flyers with Brian's information, including some of his distinct features, such as a fleck in one of his irises and his Pearl Jam stick figure tattoo.
Thanks to the resub.
They even went so far as to check the city sewers,
Toxic,
but found nothing useful. The fact that Brian's personal belongings were untouched made matters worse. There were no signs of struggle within Brian's home, and nothing of value was missing. His bank account and credit cards remained untouched. Even his car was still parked 6 blocks from the Ugly Tuna Saloona at his apartment on King Avenue, where his girlfriend waited for 2 days after his disappearance.
Thanks, Resub Hypnotic.
The police weren't the only ones investigating Brian's case. Alexis spent her time posting hundreds of flyers at their school campus,
nice, Captain.
Searching through dumpsters, and scouring neighborhoods by day and riverbanks by night. She even called Brian's cell phone every day for a long time. While her calls usually went straight to voicemail, there was one instance where it rang. It was one of the best sounds I've ever heard, she recalled, even if no one picked up.
Damn, that's sad. That's fucking heavy.
Singular, Brian's wireless provider, later claimed that this might have been due to a system glitch, and not an actual response from Brian's phone.
Exit Tier 1, Maddie.
Investigators were also unable to determine Brian's exact location,
the Saloona was a portal to the Galactic Federation.
GPS enabled. Interestingly, a cell tower did detect a ping from Brian's cell phone in Hilliard, 14 miles northwest of Columbus. Whether or not this was also a system glitch is anyone's guess. Besides Alexis, Randy also launched his own investigation. One of the things he did was visit a psychic, who told him that Brian's body was in the water.
Good
near Bridge Pier.
investigation. Very good investigation.
This prompted Brian's family to search along the shores of the Olentangy
Classic
River.
psychic.
But
Taking
no evidence
advantage of
Brian's
vulnerable
whereabouts
people.
was ever found.
Grieving.
Throughout the years, the police have received
Scum.
many tips,
Fucking
including
scum.
possible sightings in Michigan, Texas, and even as far as Sweden. Eddie Vedder, the lead singer of Pearl Jam, mentioned Brian at one of their concerts later that year.
No, the psychic is scum, not the parents. Jesus, I'm talking about the psychic.
Last April, a young man named Brian Shaffer kind of went missing. He looks like he's in his 20s. He's 6'2", real handsome guy. If you look into this, it's out there. FindBrianShaffer.com. That's his name, Brian Shaffer. And it feels like he's one of our own. And,
That was nice of Pearl Jam.
if you have any information, there is a reward, but you can also remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers Ohio. There's information on NBC4, and like I said,
Have you eaten there before, Rope?
he's
Christ.
one of us, and we miss him here tonight.
Probably ate the food and disintegrated. That place fucking sucked.
Information or idea.
You really hate the Saluna, huh?
So you can see it's quiet, you know, and imagine at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you know, the bar was probably packed, but around here, especially if it was under construction, there's a really good chance, you know, no one would be here. So there's a parking garage right behind it. So here is the east side of the building that he disappeared in.
Probably Onyx. I think so.
From parking garage.
Thanks to the 20 man.
Here's one emergency exit. So this could have been one of the doors that he came out of. Fire pump room. There's another emergency exit. But this is there's the other.
What was the name of the
emergency
place?
exit.
The
This is
Filthy
one
Tuna
place
Saluna?
he could have went out of.
Thanks to the resub God Dragon. Ugly
And there's
Tuna
another
Saluna.
emergency exit. So there's three or four emergency exits. You know? Oh man. It's just crazy.
As time went on, this case gained widespread attention from media and online sleuths due to its puzzling nature. The very ambiguous security footage, coupled with some interesting details about Brian's past, has opened the door for speculation and theories. It's worth noting that 3 weeks before his disappearance, Brian's mother passed away due to myelodysplasia, a rare form of cancer. According to a 2018 interview with Brian's family, he was apparently so distraught by this event that he showed up 1 hour late to his mother's funeral. Moreover, about a week after Renee's passing, Brian asked Alexis to just go away with him. And a few days before he disappeared, he told her to move on and find someone else. Given the emotional hardship that Brian was enduring,
He absolutely
and
just
the fact that
ran
he was
away
most
then.
likely drunk during the night of his disappearance, some believe that he may have committed suicide. The Ugly Tuna Saluna sits on the second floor of the Gateway Film Center building. The theory is that Brian could have snuck past the main security camera, leaped from a nearby non-surveillance service door that at the time led to a construction site, and is now buried beneath the rubble. He may have even done so unintentionally.
What?
If you recall, Randy did say that Brian seemed tired that night from pulling all-nighters for his exams. And there's some evidence that might support this claim. When Detective John Hurst was interviewed about his investigation into this case, he stated that Brian got exited out of the construction site exits.
But we went over and checked the movie theater that was,
Oh, sweet.
across
Thanks,
the
guys.
way. Checked out, the entire building from top to bottom to try to figure out if he could have went, in a different direction. And the basic indication right now is somehow he got down into the construction area and most likely got exited out of there. But again, we don't have anything that's on video to support that.
What does that mean? Got exited out of there? Am I dumb? What does that mean?
The wording he chose has been the source of much speculation, causing many people to wonder if foul play was involved. There's also the possibility of a cover-up.
Kicked
Apparently,
out?
the construction site was a significant investment for the county, and there would, of course, be bad press if a dead body turned up before it was finished.
Nice to be some good fellow.
However, search dogs were used by the police during their investigation, especially
nice.
around
I see
the
what you're
area
saying,
where
bro.
Brian was last seen, and nothing was uncovered. Another theory is that Brian could have ran away to start a new life. Perhaps the passing of his mother and argument with his girlfriend could have caused Brian to not kill himself, but to escape and begin anew. Some people suspect that Brian might have left through a back exit, namely through an unwatched freight elevator. The area is monitored by 2 security cameras, one that automatically pans the area and another that is manually controlled. Brian could have waited for the perfect opportunity to slip past their view. Once again,
I
there's
don't think
very
that'd be
little
something he
evidence
was
to support
thinking
this
about.
claim,
He was
but
drunk.
there's at least some evidence.
I don't think he was thinking about being
When
like
Brian's mother
sneaky.
passed away, he reportedly received $20,000 from life insurance, which might have helped him escape. Also, according to Dan Shaffer, Brian was capable of going through sudden changes, or as he puts it, he could swing through extremes. In 1999, he was heavily into partying and drinking until he got a DUI and spent 3 days in prison. After that, he changed completely. He stopped drinking and got into exercise for about 6 months. This could suggest that Brian was no stranger to radical lifestyle changes. Brian also played guitar as part of a band during high school. Even during his
Thank you,
years at
Pepsi
university,
Man.
he had mentioned that his main goal in life was to start his own band. To be precise, he once said on his MySpace account, "This whole doctor thing is really just a job, only temporary, until I get my band together and put out a record." Which might suggest
Not
a
a bad
motive.
plan.
I mean, could the death of his mother push him to such extremes? Probably not. Considering how popular this case has become, it would be extraordinarily difficult for Brian to hide from the public. Also, despite the then recent passing of his mother,
Thanks to the prime
those close to
negotiator.
Brian said that he was handling the grief pretty well and had ambitious plans for the future. He and Alexis were scheduled to leave for Miami that Monday. The trip was actually a gift his mother had given them the previous Christmas. Alexis, along with many of their friends and families, believed that Brian was planning on proposing to her during their vacation. In fact, it was later confirmed by one of Renee's coworkers that Brian had indeed been speaking to his mother about asking Alexis for her hand.
Thanks to some handlebars.
It's kind of doubtful that
Handlebars.
Brian would choose to throw this all away. At the end of the day, Brian was a promising student with a bright future. He had just received a degree in microbiology from OSU, and he was in his second year studying medicine. Whether Brian drunkenly stumbled out of the building or ran away on his own accord,
Yeah, I'm kind of
he
thinking
was
that might have
never
been what
captured
happened.
by any other security camera that night. No other nearby bar had security footage of him, and the street cameras failed to catch him on the run. He was there, and then he vanished.
So do they not have cameras on like the outside of the building where the construction site was?
Other theories have arisen, ranging from murder to drug involvement,
Zombie.
and even the smiley face killer. From the late 1990s to the 2010s, a series of mostly white, college-aged men were found dead in bodies of water across the United States, often after leaving parties or bars.
What?
Most of these men were fit, popular, and successful students.
What?
Brian undoubtedly fits this description well, but the police and FBI have discarded this possibility following their investigation. For one, there's no evidence that Brian's body is in water, or if he's even dead. And second, the FBI have concluded that the smiley face killer doesn't exist.
I was gonna fucking say.
The drug involvement theories
I'm sure I would have heard of that.
Usage of cocaine. It's well known that medical students have to bear days of overnight studying, and some sources claim that their drugs of choice are uppers or stimulants, like the legal pill Adderall
Thanks to
or
Tier
the
1
illegal
Cooper
powder
Lord.
cocaine. It's speculated that Brian may have purchased cocaine that evening during their bar hopping, and possibly the dealer took note that Brian had a lot of cash, which could have led to the mugging and subsequent murder of Brian Shaffer.
I don't.
Remember that
I
this is
don't
all
think
just
so.
speculation. it's virtually impossible to confirm whether or not Brian was into drugs without someone ratting him out.
That is a huge assumption.
There's one last theory that's quite interesting. While the police were investigating the case, they turned to questioning those who had seen Brian that night, asking them to take lie detector tests. Meredith Reed and Randy Shaffer both took the test without a problem. Clint, however, refused. Up until this time, Clint had been cooperative with the police through the investigation. However, when asked to take a lie detector test, he quickly got a lawyer, and from that point on, refused to participate any further in the search for Brian.
That's weird.
According to his attorney, Neil Rosenberg, Clint did not take the lie detector test because he had already told officers everything he knew and didn't see the value of having to do it all over again. It should come as no surprise that this is extremely suspicious behavior from Clint.
Thanks to the prime parallel.
Furthermore, Clint is the only person to claim that Brian did, in fact, return to the bar, yet no one else has been able to corroborate his memory. Many of the people close to Brian, including his family, don't trust Clint. As soon as the detectives started getting involved, that's when he pretty much had no contact with anybody, said Derek, Brian's brother. I've always thought he definitely knows something. He just won't come forward with it. If Brian did take off somewhere, if that is the case, we just always had a strong feeling that Clint would possibly know that. Alexis Wagner agrees with Derek. She also believes that Clint has withheld information. However, she believes that Brian died and did not run off. I can't imagine he would have just done that, she said.
Well, can we ask Clint a little nicer, maybe?
2 years after Brian's disappearance,
surely there's a way to...
His father, Randy, passed away
to get that
from
info.
what could be considered a freak accident. On September 2008, Randy was at his home in central Ohio, clearing debris during a heavy windstorm, when a branch from a nearby tree broke and fell upon him, killing him.
Holy shit.
The next day, the neighbors found his body and called the police. When Randy passed away, his obituary was posted online, along with a condolence book. It was around this time that a new lead would emerge. Someone made a post on the condolence book as if it were coming from Brian himself, and the message stated a location, the U.S. Virgin Islands. At first, it gave new hope that Brian might still be alive.
Sub-Pooper and Resub Taka.
However, police were able to trace the online message.
Looking forward to it. See you on Monday, man.
They determined that it was a hoax.
Yep.
As it had been posted from a computer accessible to the public in Franklin County, Ohio, not the U.S. Virgin Islands. Although the message was a hoax, it has been mentioned that the Columbus police still believe Brian to be alive. Clint's attorney, Neil Rosenberg, intimated this. Rosenberg had been writing to a private investigator named Don Corbett,
Tier 1 breaks in,
who volunteered his time to help the Shaffer family find Brian. They spoke of Clint's refusal to take a lie detector test. In April of 2009, the Ohio State student newspaper, The Lantern, even published an article regarding the exchange between Rosenberg and Corbett. If Brian is alive, which is what I'm led to believe after speaking with the detective involved, then it is Brian, and not Clint, who is causing his family pain and hardship, Rosenberg wrote. Brian should come forward and end this.
Thanks to Resub Jabroni. The bits
After
pickle.
so many years, Alexis is now numb to emotions regarding Brian's case. Yet she still wonders about what happened that night. In 2009, she married a man named Eric, a contractor who was building her parents' new home. They now live in Toledo with their children.
Nice! Congrats.
As for Derek Shaffer, Brian's brother and the last remaining member of his immediate family, he states, I've thought about that night over and over and over for 10 years. What if I had been there that night? Would things have been different? Would my brother still be here? I've carried that guilt around for a while. Derek's wife, Marin, also shares her curiosity about what could have happened to Brian. We never could have believed then that 10 years later, we still don't know what happened to Brian. It's been so hard watching Derek go through this, but we had to get back into our normal lives. Derek and Marin now live in Canal Winchester with their son. Finally, as for Brian, his case remains a mystery. Did someone murder the 27-year-old?
Doubt
Or
it.
did he run away?
Maybe.
Did he kill himself? Or
No.
is he still alive?
Yeah.
In 2016, when asked these questions, Detective John Hurst had this to say. Is Brian alive? There is a possibility he is alive, but if you look at the probabilities that he isn't alive, those are
tier
just
one,
as great.
Samuel.
Was he murdered? There is nothing we have been able to recover that shows he succumbed to foul play. So again, the probability of that isn't as great as he just walked away. Did he take his own life? Most people who commit suicide want to be found. I would say that is probably in the lower category. The answers that everyone wants, everyone needs,
Probably can't watch that one, Pepin.
I don't know if we will ever have them.
Alright, looks like I'll have to solve the case. I think what happened... So he's drunk. We need to remember that. I've been drunk. I've wandered around drunk plenty of times before. I think he probably slipped out into, like, the back area. It probably ended up in the construction site. And that's probably where he still lays. I absolutely think that's probably what happened. And I think Clint didn't want to do the lie detector test is because maybe they did do drugs that night. And he would worry that he'd get in trouble for drugs.
Meet Frane Selak, an elderly music teacher from Croatia, and depending on how you look at it, either the world's unluckiest or the world's luckiest person to ever live. His unbelievable yet true story begins on a cold winter's day in 1962. Traveling from Sarajevo to Dubrovnik, a fault with the line caused his train to jump the track and plunge into the freezing river below.
Hey, fuck
While
yeah.
other passengers were killed in the crash or drowned in the sinking wreckage, suffering a broken arm,
We've
Frane
seen
managed
this
to
story.
escape and swim
I
to
couldn't
shore.
tell you. It doesn't ring any bells.
Little did Frane know at the time, but this incident marked the beginning of a series of bizarre events that would occur over the next 40 years of his life. The following year, while traveling aboard a small plane bound for Rijeka, disaster struck for a second time. Mid-flight, both engines stopped.
He needs to just stop
cabin
taking
pressure
public
dropped,
transportation.
And the plane began losing altitude. You might have thought that this was probably the worst thing that could have happened, but you'd be wrong. While the plane plummeted towards the ground, a malfunctioning door blew off, and poor Frane was sucked out of the aircraft.
What?
Tumbling through the air without a parachute,
Wait, you
Frane
fucking
must have
serious?
thought he was a goner.
Wait, that's amazing.
But while the plane crashed into the side of a hill, killing all 19 on board, Frane somehow managed to land in a haystack and survived with only minor...
This is absolutely not true. No fucking way. Oh, Frane. That was Frank. He's still alive, too. The next year, during his first and only plane ride, he was blown out of a malfunctioning plane door and landed in a haystack. Well, what plane crash was this? Every plane crash is very well reported on. Which one was this? God damn, Maki. Another fat 20, thank you. Thanks to the resub, Ed Boy. Thank you, Maki. This could all very well be a lie. What plane crash was this? Every single plane crash like ever on a commercial airliner is reported. For obvious reasons. It was 1966. It doesn't change anything. Reference. I see these references. I can't read this. Supruga Lodos. Oh, actually, can I translate? Let me see. Forgot we have that technology now. Well, that didn't work. It's also a lifestyle magazine, it seems. Source number 6. Oh, here we go. Well, that didn't work. Okay, which one? I'm assuming it was in Croatia. Well, that didn't work. Wow, there was a lot of plane crashes in 1963. Holy shit. Okay, I'll just assume that one might be true. That's a lot of plane crashes.
Minor injuries. Another 2 years went by before Frayn's next brush with death. This time, while traveling by bus, ice on the road.
Stop traveling, Frayn!
And the vehicle skidded through the safety guard and into the valley below. 4 passengers were killed, but not Frayn. Tired, or perhaps terrified, of public transport, Frayn began to travel mostly by car.
Good call.
But that didn't seem to help either.
Should have done
In
skateboard,
1970,
maybe.
his car engine burst into flames, but Frayn was able to jump free before it exploded. Then, 3 years later, in 1973, the fuel pump in his new car ruptured, causing another engine fire. But this time, the flames were blown straight at him through the air vents. Needless to say, he survived this too, albeit with less hair than he began with. In 1995, he survived being hit by a bus. And in 1996,
This guy's awesome.
a careless truck driver forced him off the side of a mountain road. His car plunged 300 feet and exploded in a ball of flames. But Frayn wasn't in it. Having somehow jumped out of the window, he was found clinging to a tree some way down the cliff face.
Frayn is like a fucking perfect stunt man. He's mastered the art of diving out of exploding vehicles. Thank you. Oh, goddamn. Thank you for the 10 gift subs again, Maki. And the tier 1 Anchor and the resub Mega Rooney, Anuna, 21 Savage, and Prime Zazfo.
Now, Frayn's story may have ended there, as since then, Frayn hasn't been involved in any other death-defying incidents. However, there is one last
He's a
twist
prime
to this
shifty.
man's incredible story. In 2003, at the age of 72, Frayn bought a lottery ticket, his first one in over 40 years. He won the jackpot, safely securing his place as the luckiest unlucky person to ever live.
That's good. The universe gave him a little something. He won $1.1 million. Let's see what crimes were caught on Twitch. Off the top of my head, can I think of any crimes? Turkey, the Turkish community on Twitch was recently just caught in a massive scandal of money laundering through Twitch bits and donations. That's probably on here. What else? CSGO Lotto, would that be on here, you think?
Twitch started off as just a
Prime
TV.
Raptor.
A man strapped the camera to his head and would live stream everything that happened to him 24/7. Eventually, the site grew and welcomed people from all over the world to
I used
live
to stream on
The
Justin
company had a
TV.
name change, which we now know as Twitch, and in 2014 was bought out by Amazon for $970 million. First thing I want to do is talk about the horrible Twitch staff. Now, it's very known that Twitch has some, let's say, fine staff. Every
Coming in
it seems
hot.
like a female streamer gets banned and then unbanned within the same week, whereas a male
God
streamer
damn.
gets banned for the same thing, if not something less harmful, and end up getting permanently banned. This has been proven time and time again, with the most recent case being about Narcissa Wright, a Twitch streamer that literally tweeted
Narcissa
out,
Wright.
"I want to kill myself and shoot people at Twitch headquarters."
That story is very sad,
Who was
honestly.
banned, and then what do you know? Unbanned a few days later. I mean, if you ask me, that should have been a permanent ban, but no. We see in this tweet here that they're reducing her ban, and basically, you know, she got unbanned, is what I'm trying to say.
Point is, Twitch, I see where your bans come. I see where they come from, but it's like to me,
Here's the bits, Alex.
it's just like this situation, shoot people at the Twitch headquarters.
Should be a permanent ban. Now, why? Are the Twitch staff just full of simps? Yeah. And in all honesty, it does seem like Twitch has favorites. Sometimes the reasoning for people getting banned is so stupid, but then if a female does it, again, this is not every
Now,
single
correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't she rebanned after being... Or... Wasn't she rebanned after being unbanned and then banned again? I'm pretty sure they did correct that mistake. The whole Narcissa Wright story is extremely sad, though. That situation is horrible. I don't think many people know like the whole lore behind Narcissa Wright, but it's a honestly really sad story. Tell it? I can give the cliff notes. Back in the early days of Twitch, really Twitch was built on the back of speedrunning for a little while, like Siglimic, Cosmo Wright. Really the two of them were like pillars of streaming content on Twitch, and started to really get a lot of headlines, and then eventually ADGQ was rolling around, AGDQ started popping off. Cosmo Wright was a prolific speedrunner in Zelda games, Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, all of that. And then over time, started to lose interest in speedrunning. I remember, I think it was 2016, Cosmo Wright entered into a Nintendo-sanctioned competition with a guy named John Numbers, where they were playing Mario Maker as a contest. And Cosmo Wright got blown out and didn't really return to streaming after that, if I recall correctly. And then after that, Cosmo Wright's mental health seemed a little spotty from what people were seeing. Eventually, Cosmo Wright transitions into Narcissa Wright, and from there, the streams that she would do were really focused on like really negative things, and it was very like a toxic environment. Eventually, Narcissa stopped streaming for a while, and what I understood is that she just outright stopped altogether. And then she posted that tweet about wanting to kill herself, and then the Twitch staff, which obviously turned a lot of heads as like, hey, what the fuck is this? So that's where the story's at. There's a lot more nuance to it, but that's kind of like the Cliff Notes breakdown. That whole story there, a lot of like sad and unfortunate things happened along the way. But since I was so big into watching Siglimic, Cosmo, that whole community of speedrunners, it's something I actively followed for a really long time.
Stephen Heyman. On August 31st, 2018, Stephen Heyman and John Pietro, I hope I said that right, were on their way to Dragon Con, a convention made for gamers, comic
Is that a real thing?
science fiction fans, and more.
Sounds like a joke, like Dragon D's nuts.
This is called IRL streaming. In Atlanta, Georgia, a man is seen approaching John and pins him to the ground. We can't see much, but we do get a full view of what the man looks like.
JP, just let go. JP, just let go.
What the fuck is happening?
JP, just let go of it. JP, just let go of it.
Wow.
You can hear
well, that was awfully calm.
Say, JP, just let go. And this is due to what I'm assuming is John not wanting the man to take his camera, which the man did end up stealing. From the reports I've read, it seems like the man was never caught. The YouTube comments were full of L friend, this dude is such a bad friend, and comments like that. But honestly, that was the best thing to do. You don't know if someone is carrying a knife or a firearm, and your life really isn't worth getting killed over something as simple as a camera or your wallet, when you could just...
Love how the dude didn't help. Bro, you're not gonna... Just give up the camera. Everyone shits on Dale Brown for giving like survival advice for how to like survive in an intense situation and disarm the attacker, and you guys give him shit. But the optimal thing to do is to not fight back. Just give your camera. Again, like Tuv just said, could have a knife, could have a gun, and that guy's big as fuck. That guy was significantly more jacked than Steven here. Just give up the fucking camera. Like, I guarantee if this guy did fight back and got his ass beat, people would give him much more shit anyway. Or he could have lost his life over it for a camera.
The police officer explains the call and asks Mr. Big for his name. Mr. Big explains that he doesn't need to give him any sort of information.
Oh boy, you went full Reddit.
It's honestly a pretty long and petty back and forth from both of them, up until the cop places Mr. Big under arrest. I would say wrongfully place him under arrest. I mean, he did have his right to not say anything. Cops can always arrest you based on suspicion. You know, it didn't seem in the clip like there was any suspicion of anything other than just the way Mr. Big was acting. Anyway, so Mr. Big gets arrested, right? They leave and they close the door. So a few minutes after the arrest, the door opens and reveals a neighbor, presumably the one that made the complaint, walking in and stealing a pair of shoes and a headset. He returns and steals what seems to be his phone and a watch. I tuned into Mr. Big's Twitch page, and to my surprise, he still streams. Well, he took a break and is back and averages about 5 to 10 viewers.
That's
so I decided to ask him a couple questions.
What a galaxy brain scheme,
make sure to show him some love and make sure to tell him.
Supervillain mastermind.
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, he was charged.
Oh, nice.
Career criminal, man. Had a lengthy criminal history. I think he did 3 years for that shit.
I tried looking his name up in like a Washington police directory or something. I checked a lot of websites and I did not find a Jeremy Frost ad. It's not that I don't believe you, Mr. Big. It's just that I would have liked to pull up his mugshot. RickyBot. RickyBot was a 43.
I don't know this one either.
Streamed himself playing Pokemon Go.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Go is a mobile game which requires you to go outside in order to catch different. Since the man stole 3 cell phones and the camera itself. RickyBot was taken to a local hospital with a laceration on the side of his head and a swollen right cheek. That same night, Ricky put out a series of tweets reading, "I got mugged playing Pokemon Go in Central Park. Still talking to police and will go to the hospital soon. My jaw is a mess. Thanks all. My Twitch account got suspended." literally insult to injury.
Yeah, that's another fucked up thing that Twitch used to do. I don't know if they still do. If a crime gets captured on stream, or like something like that, I guess, where you get your ass beat on stream, they just ban the account outright, which is weird. I remember there was that guy who was involved in a hit and run while streaming. At least I think it was a hit and run. Oh, no. There was a streamer who, while streaming IRL, accidentally captured, like, a shootout, I think it was. Like, a guy shot at a car on his stream, and the guy got banned for it. It's really, like, a weird policy they have in that department when you capture something like that. That's technically against TOS, but you had no control over it, and it would also be good evidence. So I don't know why they'd, like, take it down. But yeah, that was something they did for all of those kind of cases. I remember that. I don't know if they still do, though. Yeah.
So if I'm streaming, right, I have a malicious friend, for some reason, in my house, right? He comes in, says a slur, runs out. I'm getting banned, right? I hate it. I hate it so much. And this poor man got pinned down to the ground and robbed. And Twitch is like, oh, nah, that's violent. Take it down. It's like, there's a lot of stuff about Twitch that
that policy is terrible.
In case you're wondering how Ricky is doing now.
How do they justify it? Because I know they even put out a statement about it. I'm kind of curious. Where can I find those guidelines? Again, I don't know if they still do it, though. But where can I find it? Because I'm curious what they did to defend it. They don't want people faking it for clout. I remember bits and pieces back with the guy who captured a shooter on stream. I think they said something like, we're doing it to keep the VOD private for everyone involved and sharing it with the police or something. Thanks for your subcatamon. I don't remember. If I could just remember what that case was, I'm sure I could find their tweet about it that clarified. Does anyone remember what it was? Because it was a pretty big one. That one got mainstream attention. A streamer had captured like a shootout on stream on Twitch. It was valuable information for the crime, and they banned the account, which then made it inaccessible. Was it North Hollywood shootout? Man, what the fuck? This was 1997 North Hollywood shootout. I remember that. This was not Twitch, you fucking asshole. That one, though, changed law enforcement drastically. So this is totally unrelated to anything we're watching here with the Twitch crimes. This shootout is fucking crazy. So 2 robbers were armed to the teeth, like full-blown juggernaut from Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, pull it up, Jamie.
And they robbed a store, and the police showed up, and they just started blasting. Like, the guy's full auto, just letting it all hang loose. Oh, it was a bank. They robbed the bank. Yeah, that's what it was. Robbed the bank, just blasting. And the cops were shooting back, but their handguns weren't powerful enough to pierce their armor. So they couldn't actually stop them. They couldn't actually prevent them from leaving or doing anything. So they just kept walking away, taking bullets from the police while firing back. The police got so desperate for firepower, they started, I believe they raided a nearby gun store for like shotguns and other items, and as well as like just trying to find anything with a higher caliber. And it was such a long, drawn-out shootout that post-North Hollywood shootout, they started arming police officers much more heavily, like more firepower in their vehicles. It was crazy. The whole thing was captured on helicopter. In fact, the only reason it even ended is because one of the officers got a lucky shot on one of their ankles, because their ankle was slightly exposed, so they hit his ankle, he fell to the floor and knew he was going to be killed, so he took his own life. And then the other one, I think, got really desperate and just started walking at them or something like that. It was something like that. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy.
The most notorious of all daring robberies unfolds here in North Hollywood, California, as 2 men dressed in black and armed with AK-47s storm a local bank.
Requesting assistance. We have a possible 211 in progress at the Bank of America. Bank of America. All covered in north of Kendrick. We have shots fired.
Unaware of what's waiting for them, members of the Los Angeles Police Department descend on the scene. Officers surround the building.
Stay back. Get back.
Inside, the gunmen gather more than $300,000 in cash, then force their hostages into the bank's vault.
Then there was about a minute or 2 of silence. And then all hell broke loose.
All units
As the LAPD returns fire, they make a frightening discovery.
They've got automatic weapons. There's nothing we have that can stop them.
The shooting at everybody?
Yes.
He's wearing heavy body armor, so he's been shot I don't know how many times, but he don't knock him down at all. He goes about 10 yards, turn around, caps off and flip around at us. Even though we return fire, it's hitting him, but we're heavy armor, they just shoot right back at us again.
Any unit know how many officers are down? We have one. There's more than one officer down.
Desperate for more powerful weapons to fight the suspects, officers rush to a nearby gun store to rearm.
We've got several civilians here also.
Roger, several civilians are here. Shots are still being fired. Officers use caution.
The officer's next concern is evacuating the wounded from the battle zone.
Should be out there where I need some type of heavy-duty vehicle to do this, because we are all pinned down by automatic gunfire.
Luckily, a commercial armored car is spotted on a nearby street. Officers quickly commandeer the vehicle and use it to retrieve the victims.
What was really unique about this situation is how coordinated the officers were. They couldn't always see one another, they couldn't always hear one another, but yet they had a sense of what was going on.
By now, more than 100 officers are involved in the battle.
Where's that suspect on the north side there? That suspect on the north side of the BOD next to the white car with the open trunk.
With one gunman driving and the other walking alongside their getaway car, the suspects blast a path away from the bank.
Unit advised the suspects are on the north side of the BFA. They don't have body armor on their legs. Shoot for the legs.
15L10, contact North Hollywood Station, have them bring extra reserve ammunition out to the scene code 3.
Without warning, the robbers separate and head in different directions. One gunman lurches forward as the bullets bounce off his armor.
We've got one suspect driving the white vehicle eastbound from the north parking lot. We've got one suspect on foot. The suspect on foot is behind a long trailer, truck trailer rig. All units use caution. You've got a suspect on foot, northeast of the bank.
The suspect on foot continues to exchange gunfire with officers. Suddenly, he takes a hit and drops his pistol. Seconds after retrieving his weapon, he falls for the last time. That leaves only one suspect, still armed and still lethal.
15L10, advise units to watch the horizon and moving at us with speed.
The second bank robber unloaded some of his weapons from his vehicle, put them into the pickup truck, even took his garage door opener so he could open his garage door. Thought he was going to make it back to his house.
Before the suspect can drive the truck away, a SWAT team makes their move.
You're saying this can't be going on. This is stuff that's in the movies. This can't be going on. But you know what? Reality is a whole lot stranger than fiction.
The shootout is fast, but ends with the robber lying wounded on the ground.
One suspect on our foot is in custody.
The suspect later dies from his injuries. But the outcome could easily have ended in tragedy for the bank hostages and police. The gunfight lasts a total of 44 minutes. More than 1,800 shots are fired, with bullet holes discovered up to a third of a mile away. But all make full recoveries. Amazingly, the only fatalities are the two gunmen. 17 officers are awarded the Medal of Honor for their bravery.
I don't know how two bank robbers could have had better weapons or had better planning than these two, yet the police officers were able to defeat them.
Thanks to Prime, Megalodon.
The streamer reacts and is then met with a handgun being pointed at his face and he screams. Alright, don't roast his scream because I'm pretty sure if any of us were in that position, we would not know what to do. So I know you chuckled after that scream, and I did too. But like, let's not be too hard.
That was a normal scream,
Steve
honestly.
His wife quiet, and you can hear the kids in the background. The other is beating the streamer repeatedly with brass knuckles, asking where the money is at.
How do people think it's fake then?
Doesn't have any money, but eventually I did find the name of the streamer, and that's TMoneyFG. It seems he doesn't stream anymore, and I couldn't find a YouTube channel, unless it's the one with 1 subscriber, but I doubt it. I also found his Twitter, and it's extremely botted. 16,000 followers and no likes on his recent tweet. Yeah, a little bit weird. You would think that if he faked this, he would at least gain clout from it. And if he faked it, I don't know if he would scream like that on purpose. Plus, why would you put your kids through something like this? I mean,
yeah, I don't think it's fake.
A lot of people were assuming that the wife set him up because she was too calm. That was stupid too. You can tell she's trying to stay calm for the kids. So
seems like a weird thing to fake if you don't even stream anymore.
Tell the video look.
Someone found it. Found the streamer you're asking about. Look up Bees on My Head TV carjacking. He was banned for getting carjacked while viewers were trying to use the VOD to find the guy who robbed him. Twitch came out and clarified their policy in response, stating that streamers are responsible for anything shown on stream. That's exactly what I was thinking of. A carjacking, not a shootout around cars. You're absolutely right. Did he ever get his account back? Because this is like really a hardline stance. Twitch suspended his account for behavior caught on camera and has since informed the streamer he won't be getting it back anytime soon. Thanks again,
Security breach. No, not the Five Nights at Freddy's game. So 6 months ago, on October 6th, Twitch was hacked and a torrent.
Oh, hey, yeah, this was the
25 gigabytes worth of leaks appeared on 4chan, and that included source code, streamer earnings, encrypted passwords, and more. We bring to you today an extremely poggers leak. Twitch is an American video live streaming service that focuses on video game live streaming, including broadcast of esports competitions operated by Twitch Interactive, a subsidiary of Amazon.com. Their community is also a disgusting, toxic cesspool. Beginnings, mobile, desktop, and video game console Twitch clients, creator payouts from 2019 until now. Find out how much your favorite streamer is really making. And then they link.
Did they ever release the second part
Jeff
to this?
Bezos paid $970 million for this, and we're giving it away for free. Hashtag do better Twitch. Though a bunch of stuff got leaked, people mainly focused on how much their favorite streamers were making. I mean, your passwords were at stake, but people were, you know, kind of mad at XQC for being a millionaire, which we all know. We all know he's a millionaire.
No, that was a surprise to everybody.
Saying they didn't make sense. It's really funny because a lot of Twitch streamers have their sub count like on the top of their heads. They're letting you know
that doesn't mean anything.
It just takes a little bit of math. And they claimed that a part 2 was coming out, but that never happened. Many people just assume it was an ex-Twitch employee or a Twitch employee who knew they were going to be fired.
I doubt it was an ex-Twitch employee.
Right, before I go, I'm just going to end this off with a big bang. I'm sure you guys remember the whole Save the Kids thing.
Who could forget?
When crypto was, I wouldn't say at its peak. I would say at its peak popularity within the internet culture, there were a lot of influencers really taking advantage of this. This doesn't even count the NFT thing, right? This is crypto. Crypto and NFTs are very similar, but they are different, right?
Shitcoins versus NFTs.
There were a lot of influencers promoting a bunch of scam coins, and once their fans would like buy the coins, they would quickly just take all the money, dip, leave the coin with no value. I mean, even Aiden Ross admitted to doing this.
Chat, by the way, that MILF token shit you want back?
This one.
I already told you guys, don't buy that shit. I got paid a bag to do that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. I hope none of you guys actually bought it.
Oh my god.
Which was Ice Poseidon. Now, Ice Poseidon used to be
very Twitch. We know this one.
In case you guys haven't heard of him, he's very popular for getting swatted. Yeah, that's what he's known for. He once got swatted on an airplane.
I actually don't know if I'm allowed to watch his story on Twitch. We all know this one though. He openly admitted to stealing, what was it, 500, what was it, $300 or $500,000 from a shitcoin that he was pumping. Just very open. Watch it? I'll just explain it. I made a whole video on it when it happened. Ice Poseidon was pumping a shitcoin. Somehow his community bought into it. He ran away with 300 to 500,000. I don't remember what number it was, but it was somewhere in that ballpark. And he then went on CoffeeZilla's channel and openly said, yeah, I took the money. I was worried the coin was going to lose some value, so I thought I might as well take the money before it hits zero. And he was just very open and honest. And then CoffeeZilla said, hey, why don't you just give the money back since you still have it? I see it in your wallet. You could give the money back. And he said, I could, but I don't want to. Yep. Part of Oki's Psychopath video. And then we'll finish off with something I've been wanting to watch for a while. But I really want to finish this story because this was a pretty wacky and goofy one.
Also, do you want to speak with Jacob?
Exit tier 1,
do you want me to
Nicole?
give him a call now? Usually he picks up when I give him a ring, and you'll see. We have it's not a weird relationship, but it's definitely a push and pull, if you will. You know, I could give him a call and I could ask him some questions. I always have questions for him. But that's your call, of course.
Are we prank calling? Hello, is this Pizza Hut? Is your refrigerator running?
Hey, is this Mr. Wool? Hey, hey, what's up, Jacob? This is Zachary Fisher with Salon, as you know. I'm actually here with a friend named Oki, who who runs a pretty big YouTube channel, a pretty popular YouTube channel. Oh, he just hung up on me. Let me call him one more time.
Yeah, it must have just been bad reception.
The number you have reached has been disconnected.
Is it tier 1 Gabagool?
In service.
Wow.
Please check the number and try your call again.
Secret Space
Unfortunately,
Program?
what you just saw was the closest that I came to speaking with Jacob Wall. Although I've tried everything that I could to contact him, I understand that I can't force him to speak to me if he doesn't want to.
Cheesecake?
However, I was able to speak to several people who've spent years covering Jacob Wall, which gave me a lot of
tier 1
insight
Mr.
into his
Mask?
character. If you don't know who Jacob Wall is, be sure to watch my first video about him called Documenting a Modern Psychopath. Just click the link at the top right of the screen.
Wasn't here last time. Can you catch me up on the lore? Yeah, this is the story about Jacob Wall and Jack. This kid has been a scammer since birth, and his father was is a prolific like lawyer. So he's always had money and was able to do a lot of really interesting scams, like with oh fuck, what was it called? What did he call it? It was a hedge fund, but he had a cool name for it. It was like, fuck, what was the name of his hedge fund? Anyway, he ran a hedge fund scam when he was like 15. Through his dad, he was able to meet like Donald Trump and shit, which gave him more like legitimacy to people to scam. He was also able to get a lot of money, and then just a whole bunch of shit. Cum Guzzler firm, that might have been it. Sonic the Hedge Fund. Okay, no one remembers. Understood. Basically, this kid was born to scam. Jack, probably one of the goofiest weirdos I've seen in a minute. He also does a lot of goofy shit. But what makes them super interesting is they started a career of schmear campaigns, but like in the worst way. So the one from last time is they hired, I think it was a male escort, to pretend like Elizabeth Warren scratched his back. And they had this whole press conference where he takes off his shirt to show scratch marks on his back. And even the dude was laughing about it. So it's just a really interesting story. I just want to see where it goes. I always say schmear. I think it's a cooler word.
So who are these people that I interviewed? Part 1 included interviews I conducted with a hedge fund expert named Mark Meelan, Will Summer of the Daily Beast. Since then, I have spoken to Zachary Patrizio, a journalist for Salon, the editor-in-chief of News to Share, Ford Fisher, the unnamed person behind the Jacob Wall Report Twitter account, who asked me to obscure their voice, and the host of Pensive Politics, Christian Watson. Before speaking to them, my theory about Jacob Wall was that he behaves the way he does only because it garners him attention and fame. Also because he's addicted to going trending on Twitter. Here's 2 clips where he says so himself.
Your life aspiration, you say, is to be rich, famous, and I quote, attended to by the public. What does that mean, Jacob?
Man, this guy kind of looks like this guy, but a little more Chadley.
It makes me feel so happy. It's like community. All right.
I want to be trending artist. What can we do to go trending here?
Okay, so
if I'm not trending, I'm not happy. It's like I have.
Yeah, somebody else just agreed with
somebody tweeted my quote about the lion. That's great.
Okay.
Some agreed with my theory, others did not.
Tier 1 Skeeto
is why does he do this? This is a guy
because he's fucking epic.
Whole life theoretically ahead of him. And yet he spends all his time.
It is jank.
Kind of making himself an internet laughingstock, and potentially going to prison. And I don't know really. I mean, look. I mean, he obviously loves attention. I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, I think he loves playing the heel. I think he loves people just like driving people crazy. But at the point where, you know, you're opening yourself up to lawsuits, where you might go to prison.
He is just the absolute maximum of any publicity is good.
I love that kind of silhouette shit, like UFO
I don't
things.
think he cares who he hurts along the way or what he has to do to get that publicity.
I would say minimizing it to the attention thing, though, you know, I think there are a couple other layers, right?
I mean, the idea that they're trying to just get attention, they just like their face on the news, like, it's hard for me to imagine that they'd go this far to accomplish that.
Still, I was bothered by the notion of cataloging all of Wall and Berkman's bogus smear attempts and giving them attention by doing so.
The obscured person
I
is
didn't
Mark
really have this
Zuckerberg.
concern
Look more
when
like
I
Kevin
made the first
Spacey.
video, since it was largely focused on Wall's financial crimes. So I asked them the question, why cover someone like Jacob Wall?
Sure, no, absolutely. I think it's important to remember that Jacob, while he does want attention, that it's important to cover these things because they are making it into the mainstream. You know, we would potentially see.
We also scammed a lot of money from
illegal activities that just
ordinary
went
people,
right? We would see them partaking in things that are illegal and are against the law, and I think that's when, you know, a journalist's responsibility really kicks in to cover the wrongdoing, and to really shine a spotlight onto that.
The main thing that they
Is
do
Zago?
is attempt to perpetrate frauds, and so I do think that it is my job to sort of go there, document that, and challenge it to the extent possible.
Attention seekers, if they're good, are going to get attention. That's just the truth. You can't stop that. But just because someone wants attention does not mean you should deny it to them if what they're doing warrants attention.
Or if it's entertaining.
So if someone is just being
like a laughing stock
for a very empty or meritless cause, okay, ignore them. Don't give them don't feed the fire. But if they could actually affect certain things, they could actually try to determine the course of a presidential election or a primary, or they could possibly impact a candidate. Or
I don't think Wool could do that.
Life or someone of non-importance's life, then you need to address it. Because if you leave it ignored, you could possibly have catastrophe on your hand. You could have deceit prevailing over people, prevailing over, you know, certain discussions and certain ideas. And that would just be terrible.
What you're about to watch is the product of the most frustrating experience I've ever had while making a video. I came so close to scrapping this project many, many times. But I finished it for two reasons. First, because I didn't want to let the people who enjoyed part 1 down. And second, because I believe it's important to raise awareness of how people like Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman operate. And with that said, please enjoy the show. Last time we left off on November 1st, 2018. Wall and Berkman's Robert
Yeah, we didn't even get up to modern day.
Are you both prepared for federal prison?
No.
And they were pretty much laughed out of their own press conference.
Let me tell you that. I think Jacob is a child prodigy that has eclipsed Mozart.
Agreed.
That's
You can't even open an E-Trade account.
Despite that,
Hey,
Jacob Wall got
throw that guy out.
desperately
Can we throw that guy out, please?
Attention.
Excuse me. Get him out of here.
Are we trending? That's the real question. Are we trending? I'm sure we're trending.
Only 2 weeks later, he was trending on Twitter once again. This time it was due to his strange clash with the equally attention-starved American attorney, Michael Avenatti.
Subs animator.
Again, I'm not going to get into the details, but Jacob, if you're watching, I'm coming for you.
In March 2018, Michael Avenatti received international media attention for representing porn star Stormy Daniels in a lawsuit against Donald Trump. Stormy Daniels signed a non-disclosure agreement and accepted hush money to remain silent
Man,
about
that
an
was
alleged
4 years
affair
ago
she
now?
had with the former president. Avenatti sued Donald
that feels
Trump
like it
on
was
her
only a couple
behalf
days
to release
ago.
her from her NDA. Soon, Michael Avenatti was everywhere. As Matt Taibbi of Rolling Stones magazine notes, Avenatti had 254 cable appearances in 2018, including 147 on MSNBC and CNN alone in a 10-week period.
Lately, to me, you're like the Holy Spirit. You are all places at all times.
He was celebrated by liberals for his brash and unapologetic style. Avenatti soon became a presidential hopeful, the Democrats' very own attack dog, and answer to Donald Trump. His tough guy posturing could be seen in his tweet announcing his run for president, which ends with #FightClub. However, Avenatti's Christ-like status...
What was that second one? Was the second one barista? I'm running for president, and as president, I'll open a fight club and a Starbucks.
#FightClub.
Oh, Basta. Oh.
However, Avenatti's Christ-like status in liberal circles began to dissolve. This occurred after he inserted himself in the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, claiming to have sworn testimony from an unnamed accuser, which the accuser later denied. Then Avenatti was arrested for domestic violence on November 14, 2018, after allegedly assaulting his girlfriend. LA prosecutors declined to file domestic abuse charges.
That's his
against
girlfriend?
him. Minutes after
Holy
Michael
shit,
Avenatti's
Avenatti.
domestic violence arrest was announced, Jacob Wall tweeted, "Surefire Intelligence strikes again," suggesting that Surefire Intelligence was behind Michael Avenatti's arrest. Michael Avenatti responded with, "First Mueller and now me. When we are fully exonerated, I am coming for you. Jacob Wall, aka Surefire." Jacob later denied making the tweet. Instead, he claimed that an associate did it on his behalf and added that he thought it was funny. He then tweeted, "I just filed a police report about Michael Avenatti's threat. Thank you to the brave
what a
men and
coward.
women of law enforcement."
Fight him, Jacob.
Michael Avenatti was eventually
The Fight
found
Club,
guilty
man.
on February 14, 2020
Here's the prime, Joey.
on 3 counts of attempted extortion in an unrelated matter involving the sportswear company Nike.
Well, today, a jury in New York convicted him of trying to shake down Nike for more than $20 million. Prosecutors say Avenatti threatened to expose the
I
company
haven't watched
and
Cuphead show
demanded
yet.
millions of dollars. He claimed
Exhibits
that Nike
animator.
bribed amateur basketball players.
After his brief run-in with Avenatti in November 2018, no one paid much attention to Jacob Wall for the next few months, a fact that must have eaten away at him. To celebrate the new year, Jacob edited together a 31-second YouTube video of well-known broadcasters saying his name, simply titling it Jacob Wall, and adding to the description, 2018 was a great year for Jacob Wall.
Jacob Wall?
Jacob Wall.
Jacob Wall.
Is that how you pronounce
Jacob
it?
Wall.
Jacob Wall.
Jacob
What a good year for Jacob Wall,
believes
though.
that Wall is behind the allegations against Avenatti himself.
If I was Jacob, I would not be sleeping well at
Okay, who is Jacob?
Jacob Wall.
That something big was coming, and Jacob Wall.
He's a guy named Jacob Wall.
Jacob Wall knee
teamed up with Jacob Wall, a sort of equally notorious young man.
A Trump supporter named Jacob Wall.
2019 began and Jacob Wall was attention starved.
When do they do
His
the
ravenous
BDSM
appetite to be
stuff?
noticed went unfulfilled during the first month of the year, and it was not for a lack of trying. In fact, all of his attempts failed to gain any real traction. He unsuccessfully tried to start a campaign to impeach Ruth Bader Ginsburg. He also claimed that
was
United
close.
States Senator Cory Booker sexually assaulted a man in a bathroom. Additionally, he claimed that Kamala Harris was not a natural-born citizen and therefore could not run for president. But finally, on February 11th, 2018, Jacob Wall caught the buzz he was looking for after starting a petition to remove Ilhan Omar from the House of Foreign Affairs Committee, which gained 270,700 signatures.
Damn, he had a huge petition.
Capitalizing on the hype, he teamed up with convicted felon and former
Where's the bits animator?
Stop the Steal spokesperson Ali Alexander, as well as Laura Loomer, who is best known for handcuffing herself to the doors of Twitter HQ in protest of being banned from the site. The trio traveled to Minneapolis claiming that they would expose Ilhan Omar on the unproven claim that she married her brother. Ilhan Omar is a politician serving as a United States representative of Minnesota. Rumors persist that she married her brother in order to sidestep immigration laws. Omar married Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi, a British citizen, in 2009, and the two separated in 2011. To date, there has been no documentation proving or disproving that Elmi is Congresswoman Omar's brother. Omar has called the speculation illegitimate and disgusting lies. Whether or not she's committed immigration fraud is unknown, but one thing's for sure, Jacob Wall would not be the one to solve the mystery. Jacob Wall's investigation of Ilhan Omar was as farcical as you'd expect. Along with Ali
I want to
Alexander
see his
and Laura
BDSM
Loomer,
stuff.
he traveled to Minneapolis, tweeting
what
and
it does?
live streaming his every move. According to Jacob, Cedar Riverside, Minneapolis was a no-go zone full of Antifa and jihadists who wanted to behead, bomb, and murder him.
We were afraid that we were going to be tailed. We were afraid that Ilhan, the jihadi Omar, would send somebody after us and tail us.
Let's not mince words here, you guys. Ilhan Omar would love nothing more than to
How
watch
is the
Obama
quality
in
so
the United
bad?
States. Ilhan Omar would love nothing more than to watch
This kid's like a
9/11
multi-millionaire. You don't have an iPhone?
To believe Jacob Wall's description of Minneapolis, you'd think that he was venturing into the Battle of Fallujah. He wore a bulletproof vest, claimed that he was traveling with a security detail, and collected donations to ensure his safety on a website called jihadilhan.com.
So,
There's
you know,
your
we have professional
pirate
security.
Nick
In fact,
and the
I'm
Prime
riding with him
Pullmans.
right now. And we also have, you know, drivers, you name it, cars that are protected. And so I feel pretty good about our security situation because you guys have funded us through jihadilhan.com. We have veterans who are very...
Yeah, I'm sure Aaron here saying fart sniffer was directly contributing to your security detail, Jacob. Man, what a great community. He gets, what, like 4 messages a stream? And one of them is fart sniffer? Fuck yeah, you really built like a great like network here.
Competent, career military professionals that know what they're doing, that are going to keep us safe.
Bet your dog is boning you. Wow, this is... what a lit community.
Keep us from being slain.
It's actually hilarious how much Jacob tried to paint Minneapolis as the caliphate or something. Here's one of his tweets. Just left a no-go zone in Minneapolis. One of the friendly local Somali men asked me, "Are you trying to get killed?"
What? Now, if you're not familiar with Minnesota, you don't know how this works, but the Islamicist forces here have taken over sections of the respective police departments
They
in
have
almost every
Sharia
area.
police in Minnesota now. There are men who walk around in orange vests that say Sharia police in some of these Somali communities, and they are enforcing Sharia law.
Although they claimed to have armed guards, there wasn't any proof that they did. It was clear that they were lying about it, and even Jacob couldn't help but laugh when asked about it on a live stream.
We've got a top-notch security team here to get us around, get us from point A to point B. They're right here and right here behind the camera. You can't see them. And we've been going from point A to point B in convoy, you know, armored cars, you name it.
Ben Beazle and Dwayne
security professionals. And as
Johnson.
you can see,
Fuck, I blew it.
they don't exactly
They're not real.
look professional. I mean, look, this guy's wearing fucking Crocs. During their escapade in Minneapolis, Jacob Wall starred in a documentary shot by a media outlet called Culture. I really want to show you clips from this documentary, but I'm fairly certain my video will be copyright claimed if I do.
Chevrolet.
You should watch it though, especially if you want to see Jacob Wall, Laura Loomer, and Ali Alexander aimlessly walk around Minneapolis with Hans Zimmer-esque music blaring in the background.
Sounds intense.
Jacob hyped up this documentary as something that would expose Ilhan Omar, but it didn't reveal anything at all. The scope of their investigation amounted to knocking on her office door and leaving when no one answered.
We had a leftist today who's a diversity coordinator.
Can't say they didn't try though.
Shoot us, and apparently has some idea of where we live because a leftist, lunatic, quote-unquote lesbian activist put our location out there.
Oh yeah, I almost left out the best part. Jacob files a police report against someone he describes as a gay Hispanic diversity coordinator who he claimed threatened him on Twitter. The diversity coordinator was a complete fabrication. Jacob was the one behind the account. He made it up to threaten himself and used a photo of a Minnesota realtor named Aaron Delgado.
Well, we don't.
He pulled a Jussie Smollett by filing a police report about something he himself staged. Once this was all revealed, Aaron Delgado said that he planned to file a lawsuit with Michael Avenatti representing him. A day after returning from Minneapolis, Jacob Wall was banned on Twitter on February 26, 2019, following
Aaron
the release of
Delgado
a USA
strikes
Today
again.
article in which he admitted that he planned to create deceptive Twitter accounts to, quote, steer the left-wing votes in the primaries to what we feel are weaker candidates compared to Trump.
I don't know if you have any data on why Jacob Wall was recently banned. Do you have that?
I believe.
Who is Jacob Wall?
This is a gentleman that was in the USA Today article where
Yes.
he admitted that he was he had used tactics in the past to influence the election, and he will continue to do so using all of his.
You ever tried DMT though?
So when we saw that report, our team looked at his account. We noticed there were multiple accounts tied to his account, so fake accounts that he had created that were discussing political issues
He's a
and
tier
pretending
one.
to be other people.
Shav's Media
now
Productions
you're banned
and
from
Prime
Twitter.
Richter.
How do you respond to Twitter's permanent ban?
This could not have happened at a better time. Jacob Wohl is #1 trending on Twitter right now.
Is he?
And
Oh my god.
I'm promoting a press conference, and now people are going to go to that press conference, and it's going to be even bigger and better than we even thought. I mean, it's going to be brimming over with people. The halls of Congress are going to be rocked by what we're going to release on Thursday. It will be #1 trending on Twitter.
Let's
After
go.
leaving Minneapolis, they flew to Washington, D.C. to attend CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference,
said Blue
at the
Steel,
Gaylord
the Prime
National Resort in National Harbor,
Fonz.
Maryland. Once there, Jacob Wall, Laura Loomer, and Jack Berkman held a presser where they spoke about their investigation of Ilhan Omar to a gaggle of journalists and social media personalities. And like all of their press conferences, it was an absurd mess.
Well, one last thing.
The reason why I'm wearing this hat today is because both Jacob Wall and I have been permanently banned from Twitter after posting our investigative findings about Ilhan Omar. So I am demanding that Jack Dorsey immediately reinstate the Twitter accounts of both myself and Jacob Wall. Not only Twitter,
Should be saying thank you for getting banned, honestly.
By PayPal, by Venmo, by GoFundMe, by Twitter, by Medium. And just last week, I was in a cab and Chase deactivated all my cards and they closed my bank account temporarily.
Twitter HQ.
Yes, I plan on doing a lot of things. A lot of these big tech executives are going to be getting Lumered soon, so you'll just have to stay tuned.
Did they get Lumered?
As you know, my protest.
Hold on, let me see. Is Twitter in shambles after the Loomer? It's like a natural disaster. Let's see. Doesn't seem like it. The most recent thing about her is she says she has a brutal case of COVID. That was in September of 2021. And that's the last time she's been heard from. Well, far be it from me to question it, but it looks like Laura got Lumered. Unfortunate. That must have just been one of those big schemes from Jack, the Twitter CEO. Fucking planted it in her so he could avoid the Loomer.
In which I handcuffed myself to the front door of
Resub
Twitter
Diva.
headquarters in New York City was
The Resub
tremendous.
Hubby.
It was the #1 trending
Prime
topic
Fletch.
on Twitter. I didn't even have a Twitter account. I out-trended the President of the United States and Putin, so you can expect a lot more of this.
And Lumered is now a verb. I would point out Webster's has taken it as a verb.
Yes.
Jacob's next attempt to create a stir was on April 16th, 2019, when he and Jack Berkman held a press conference at
Jeez,
their headquarters
is this a baptism?
1599, which is Jack Berkman's Arlington, Virginia home. They promised to expose the largest scandal in NCAA history. Only 2 reporters attended the press conference. One of them, Dave McKenna, wrote an article titled, "Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman wasted my time, but on the bright side, they wasted theirs too."
Cool title, actually.
During the presser, Wall and Berkman spoke of corruption in college basketball and claimed that Adidas was operating an underground criminal operation which bribed and intimidated college athletes. Jacob Wall said, quote, "What Adidas has is, at the localized level, a network of thugs, in most cases current and former gang members, who they use to go and menace families and coerce them into doing whatever Adidas wants them
Why
to do."
Adidas now? Did he get like a
Sadly,
bad
there's no
pair of
footage this
sneakers?
event. And
Why
anyway,
is this
it
happening?
ended up being a nothing burger compared to the subsequent press conference, which took place only a few days later.
Now to a story making national headlines. Tonight we're talking to the Ferris State University student in the middle of a claim that he was sexually assaulted by a Democratic presidential challenger who now says it was all made up.
In early April 2019,
Thanks to Prime
Jacob
Zones
Wall
and give
befriended
some
one of his fans on
schnoz.
Instagram, a 21-year-old gay Republican
Resub
named
F, sir.
Hunter Kelly. Hunter Kelly had previously interacted with Jacob's Instagram posts, and one
What
day
a
he
cool
was surprised
picture.
to find that Jacob followed him back. That same day, Jacob DM'd him a question. "Do you want to be part of a political operation?" Hunter Kelly said yes.
It's like the
and soon,
Avengers coming
Jacob
together.
bought him a plane ticket to Baltimore. Once Kelly landed in Baltimore, he was greeted by Wall and Berkman, who drove him to Jack Berkman's house. Upon arrival, they presented him with a document to sign. It was a draft of a statement that said the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, Pete Buttigieg, sexually assaulted Kelly in February in a hotel in Washington, D.C. Hunter Kelly was under the impression that he was flown out to talk about how he, as a gay Republican, could help Donald Trump win the 2020 election. Jacob told him that he was instead being recruited to be part of a task force to smear Pete Buttigieg,
Which
set
is
up
so
by
much
Donald Trump's
cooler. He should
administration.
be honored.
Although Hunter
But
Kelly
I don't think they go
refused to
hard
cooperate
enough.
with the plan,
They haven't even
Wall and
mentioned,
Berkman
like,
had already written a fake Medium
extraterrestrials.
post under his name, alleging that Pete Buttigieg sexually assaulted him. They also created a fake Twitter account impersonating him and used it to share the Medium article.
Oh,
Following that,
no.
Jacob's father David Wall retweeted it, as well as the Gateway Pundit. That same day, Pete Buttigieg was asked about the allegations during a Q&A. He said, "Oh, I'm sure it's not the first time somebody's going to make something up about me. Politics can be ugly sometimes,
Please resub
but you have to face that
Augustus
when you're in
and
presidential
Atrocity
politics."
and
The article
Calluses.
generated a lot of interest and buzz. However, most were skeptical. Some pinpointed it as being the machinations of Wall and Berkman. Hunter Kelly claimed that when he confronted them for posting the allegation under his name, Berkman tried to sue them by telling him that he had become a star and that people were eating him up. He promised Kelly that his involvement in the scheme would lead to a lavish lifestyle.
Oh, wow.
According to Kelly,
$1 million.
he even promised to buy him any house that he wanted. They spent the day trying to
What a
convince
deal.
him to go through with the scheme. They got him a haircut, a caramel frappuccino, and a Subway sandwich. Still, he wanted to back out. When he expressed that,
What? After
he
a
told
Subway
them
sandwich?
that leaving was not an option.
What?
Kelly
Are you
said
serious?
that they pressured him to sign the statement.
Why would you leave?
And after what he described as 45 minutes of coercion, he finally did. Hours later, Kelly denounced the
Tier 1
Buttigieg
Diana?
allegations on his
Diana?
Facebook account,
3 Sub-Zero.
writing, "It's important for everyone to know that I was not sexually assaulted and would never falsely accuse anyone. To keep it brief for now, I was approached by a political figure to come to DC to discuss political situations from the standpoint of a gay Republican. When I arrived, they discussed Pete Buttigieg and started talking about how they would be working a campaign against him. I went to bed and woke up to a fake Twitter @RealHunterKelly.
How could Real Hunter Kelly be
I
fake?
in no way endorsed or wrote.
I think this might
have
be the
since
fake Hunter
left
Kelly.
And I'm working on a formal statement to give to everyone, including the Buttigieg family. Kelly told reporters that when he wanted to leave, Wall and Berkman wouldn't let him. So he pretended to fall asleep, packed his things, and called his sister to come get him. Wall and Berkman denied Hunter Kelly's statement.
He's a Tier 1
I think Hunter's
Jinx.
a very fine young man. I don't understand why he's now telling these lies. I think it's because people got to him. Maybe it's people in the Democratic Party. Maybe it's his colleagues or friends or family. I don't know who. It's probably Democrats.
On May 8, 2019,
It is shocking how much this guy looks like Papa John Schnatter, just less greasy. They both look so similar to each other. His name's John Schnatter, right? What? What's going on? What? Why isn't it? Oh, what did I do? God damn it! There we go. Well, I guess maybe not as close as I thought. Mainly just the eyebrows and the hair. Actually, it's pretty close. Yeah, no, I stick by it. I think he looks quite a bit like John Schnatter.
Got to him. Maybe it's people in the Democratic Party. Maybe it's his colleagues or friends or family. I
Is
don't
there
know
some
who.
web in A?
It's probably Democrats.
On May 8, 2019, Wall and Berkman held a presser at 1599 in which they
Yes.
tried to prove the allegations were true
Yes.
and that Hunter Kelly was scared off by outside pressure.
Well, we're not lying. We're telling you the truth. One thing that he received throughout the day was any number of threatening calls. We could hear them on speakerphone. We don't know who they were from.
Who's that
We
on
have
the
no
TV?
idea, but there were a lot of people calling him, trying to talk him out of telling his truth. And that went on all day
So, hey,
long.
garbage man, stop and listen.
That no one was coerced, no one was even so much as encouraged to take any particular action, and we're going to lay that all out in a series of tapes. And this is a video that we feel speaks and says a lot. You're going to see, and this is just a minor detail.
What the
He's
fuck
got
is
a
happening?
Starbucks, caramel frappuccino in front of him on the table.
He does.
Now,
Confirmed.
He had come with us earlier in the day, and he had wanted Starbucks. So we took him to Starbucks right around the corner.
Uh-huh.
We're also working
Heroes.
on
Heroes.
that tape as well. He walked in, he got his caramel frappuccino.
So, I really think the title here, Modern Psychopath, is a super apt description for Jacob Wall. This guy is so fucking goofy. So, like, the proof that all of it's real is they got him a caramel frappuccino. And he's like, we did film that as well. I'm working on getting that footage. So that way you guys know that everything's legitimate here. We got him a caramel frappuccino, which means everything he said is real. Thus, we're fine. It's fucking wild. The guy is so interesting. In, like, the weirdest way. Like, morbid curiosity. How could someone be so wired incorrectly? Oh yeah, in the subway, which I'm sure is coming up. They'll probably mention the subway in a second.
You know, most
These are Tier 1 Rage.
coercion
There is a baller and
type of
jank.
events that I see involve guns, they involve knives, they don't involve caramel frappuccinos. Jared.
Can I ask about this setup? It's kind of confusing why we're talking up to a balcony and there's the screen here.
Hey, can we get this guy out of here, wise guy? Hey, can we get him out? Get him out.
It was later revealed that they tried to stage a fake protest of the press conference, but could not drum up enough interest for people to sign up. A reporter named Justin Duckham noticed the event invite page called Protest Against Homophobic Bigots after Jack Berkman tweeted about it. The reporter then found that the event organizer used the email wallthinktank@gmail.com.
No, we haven't set up any protests. That was internet troll stuff. People set up all kinds of stuff with my email. I get emails from every bizarre subscription service you can imagine with the email address that I put out for the public. And as you can see, there's no protest. If we had put a protest together, there'd be a protest.
There'd be a million people, at least.
Wall and Berkman failed to concoct any
Maybe
major
even 10
smears
million.
for the next 4 months. Instead, news of their behind-the-scenes activities surfaced. The Daily Beast found that Jacob Wall was behind 5 fake intelligence firms, including Surefire Intelligence, which were called Bolt Intelligence, Bolt Intel, Potomac Intelligence, and Arlington.
Let me check the other ones. So Surefire Intelligence website is still up. I'd really like to hire Jacob Wall to investigate some garbage for me. See if he can put together the pieces of a puzzle I set up. Kind of like the Riddler or something from Batman. What was the other one? Bolt Intelligence? Let me look that one up. That website is down, but their Facebook page still seems to be up. That they haven't posted since 2018. What was the other one? Bolt Intelligence. Potomac Intelligence. That one's just completely gone, unfortunately. That was probably one of their best ones. There's a Tier 1 Robski and the resub Honey and Prime Dank Kato. What was the other one? Potomac, Bolt, Surefire. We already checked Surefire last time. Were those the big 3? Yeah, I need to hire Surefire Intelligence. I'll put together a little puzzle for them.
Arlington Center for Political Intelligence. An advertisement for Potomac Intelligence said that the firm offered services like corporate espionage, political opposition research, the planting or killing of news stories, and counterintelligence. Why anyone would advertise their corporate espionage firm in the classifieds, along with adverts for carpet
because it's a
cleaning
great
and
advertisement.
local mechanics, is anyone's guess.
It's efficient.
It was also discovered by the Daily Beast that Wall and
Maybe the
Berkman
10
were
gift
pitching
sub's crazy.
investors on a $1 million plan to
Thank you,
create
Crazy.
fake news
Appreciate the
stories
generosity.
in order to manipulate political betting markets. Their plan was to recruit and run what they described as agents of penetration inside DNC campaigns, to create a troll farm to influence
Penetration
social
agents
and
are
mainstream media
crucial.
narratives, and to plan and execute high-impact political publicity stunts. Our backers will affect political outcomes and use our actionable intelligence to reap rewards betting on those outcomes. By August 19th, 2019, Wall's past scams caught up with him when a warrant was put out for the arrest of himself and his business partner, Matthew Johnson, for their fraudulent activities while operating Montgomery assets. This was
that's
when
what it's
the
called,
Riverside
Montgomery
County District
Assets.
Attorney's Office went after him.
Couldn't remember the name.
I talked about this in part 1, so I'll save you the details. A few days later, Jacob posted photos onto his Instagram, claiming that he was traveling the world. According to him, one photo was in Belarus, and the other one was in Israel. However, someone noticed that he was seated in front of the exact same fence in both photographs.
It's just a very popular
which led to a lot of
fence.
people mocking him online. On August 23, 2019, Jacob defrauded an event organizer by accepting $50,000 to get Donald Trump, Don Jr., and Charlie Kirk to speak at an Indian American conference. Jacob asked for $100,000 and received half up front.
Oh, wow.
On the day of the conference, Jacob told the event organizer that Trump, Don Jr., and Kirk would be there, and that they might bring Candace Owens as well. When they never showed up, Jacob promptly ghosted the organizer. When the event organizer asked for the $50,000 back, Jacob told him that he told his secretary to return the money. Eventually, the event organizer called Jacob's dad, David Wall, who said that he told his son to return the money. After which, Jacob claimed that the money wasn't returned due to a mishap with the bank. Jacob recorded a video of himself calling the bank asking about the transfer, and boy is it a sight to behold.
I just wanted to
I'm sure it
confirm
is.
a wire. I just wanted to confirm a wire that was sent because one of my clients, we sent him a refund via wire transfer.
Of course, of course.
And he says he still hasn't received it, so...
Yeah, this
I'm
is
just a little
outrageous.
bit worried.
Can we fix it?
Okay, give me just a moment. Okay, it looks like it has not been worked. Somebody should be reaching out to you to confirm the wire.
Oh my god.
What
You
the
guys,
fuck?
I need it sent. Can they reach out?
You
right
imbeciles!
immediately?
This is Jacob fucking Wool.
Going along as they're coming in, sir. We do have an hour and a half to
God.
work on it.
This has caused me a tremendous hassle today because my client thinks that I'm trying to rip him off or something. And, okay, well, they're going to call me soon to confirm it and then send it out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, listen, I don't mean to sound angry at you. I don't mean to sound angry at you. It's just, you know, it's been a massive trouble for me.
But you are a problem, ma'am. You fucked me.
All right, thanks.
You fucked me.
Please, if you can expedite that, please do. Please do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
In the end, Jacob only returned $30,000 of the
Unbelievable.
$50,000 he owed. In late September of 2019, an unnamed member of the U.S. intelligence community released a complaint about an attempted cover-up of a call between Donald Trump and the president of Ukraine, in which Trump requested that he investigate Joe and Hunter Biden. The leaker was dubbed the Ukrainian whistleblower. On September 26, 2019, Jack Berkman offered $50,000 to anyone who could conclusively provide the identity of the whistleblower. On October 1st, they declared that they knew the whistleblower's identity and held a press conference. Unsurprisingly, the press conference ended up being a total waste of time.
Now, many people have called us hit job artists, smear artists, things like this.
How dare they?
This is true.
Oh, I know you don't think so, but what we do is thoroughly
This is fine. Give
apolitical
subs,
and
Huey.
fact-based.
Thank
I
you,
know you
Huey.
don't think so, but it's the truth.
The resub
Wally
muffin
Berkman
and
claimed that they couldn't
act.
release the name of the whistleblower until they were able to review the legalities of doing so with their lawyers.
Out of due deference to our government, we have a lawyer reviewing this before we release the name.
Why do a press conference
so
then?
we cannot release it today because we have been asked not to do so, and of course we will defer to the government if they feel there are national security or other concerns. So we have a lawyer reviewing those laws as we speak.
Then they said that they would release the name within 24 hours.
It's all coming out. You won't be disappointed.
In the end, they never did.
No, what? Who was it? Was it the Hamburglar?
Let me ask you a question. Don't you think this is a noble initiative to force the name of the whistleblower out? Do you really like, you in the media, do you really like this kind of clandestine government and clandestine society?
Oh, good word.
All of this is being done in darkness. I mean, this is like Henry VIII. I'll turn that question around and ask it to you. Do you like a country like that? Do you like a capital like that? That's not a good situation.
Do
That's
you?
a star chamber.
Huh? Big guy, huh? You like that? You just got that Jack Berkman beatdown, bitch.
2 days later, they held another press conference. This time, they claimed that Elizabeth Warren had an affair with a former Marine named Calvin Willey. I talked about this press conference in part 1.
Yes,
Calvin Willey claimed to be a
yes.
male escort working for an agency called Cowboys for Angels. The CEO of Cowboys for Angels denied that Willie worked for him and said that
Thanks,
he was
Reset
not
Freddy.
up
Hey,
to
Freddy.
caliber to work at the agency,
Good to see you, man.
implying that he wasn't good-looking enough. Calvin Willey also claimed that he served in Afghanistan and that he was a recipient of a Purple Heart.
He's also a
Records
triple
obtained
X.
by the Daily Beast showed that although he was in the Marines from 2014 to 2016, he was never deployed to Afghanistan, nor did he receive a Purple Heart.
In Prime Burger and Ryujin.
Describe your service in Afghanistan.
So my service in Afghanistan, it was very early in my Marine Corps time of just getting into my unit. 2012. Unit, I was stationed in Hawaii. 1-3. 1-3. The rest you can look.
That's the most elite unit in the
Let me just tell you
Marines!
one thing. When it comes to honoring
Holy
service here,
fuck, he's a super soldier.
we don't play around. And if you're going to keep impugning this serviceman's service, fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan, then you're going to leave.
Elizabeth Warren responded to the smear attempt by tweeting a picture of a mascot from her alma mater.
It's like an anime.
Go Cougars in the
I love
caption.
that.
They
I'm
have
part
a
of Marine
gentleman,
Corps
a
1-3.
24-year-old Marine
We took down Osama bin Laden
who
and
accused
God.
Elizabeth
Once.
Warren of partaking in like this weird sex
And we'll do it again.
scandal thing, and he claimed that she was whipped, that he whipped her, and all this stuff. When claims that he met Elizabeth Warren on this
Thanks to
site
Tier 1
called
Killer Pickle,
Cowboys for
Yuri sub
Angels,
Weeb, and Ash.
and it's like this
The 5 gives
this
subs
kind of
Weeb.
like
Thank you,
weird
Weeb.
dating site. And
Appreciate it,
they
man.
met on there, and they hung out at this like DC hotel, and ended up having like sex and stuff like that. Long story short, he claims that Elizabeth
Very important.
Warren gave him
Stop it, damn it.
this big scar.
You'll notice he is also Xander Cage from XXX. Just want to point that out. I think it's very important to the story. So not only is he part of the Marine Corps Elite Division 1-3 Super Soldier Secret Space Program team, he is also part of the XXX program. So just keep that in mind.
On his back.
This
and all
guy's
this
serious
good
business.
stuff. And quickly people search on social media and find out like he had a scar years before, what he's claiming, and of course it all backfires.
Well, I'll tell you what the difference is. I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference is very
Tell
clear.
him. Tell me.
Trump is a peak alpha male.
Oh.
And so...
And you're not? What do you mean? You're a peak alpha male, too.
When you look at President Trump, him engaging in an extramarital affair, if that's even true, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Would be understandable, would be normal, would be average.
What?
But when you look at Elizabeth Warren, you're talking about a very frail, very old woman who's going to be hormonally challenged as it relates to the
On the
Hey,
social
Jack,
media
take it away.
application
Clandestine,
program,
clandestine,
Jacob Wall
clandestine.
celebrated his victory. He once again got the attention he so desperately desired. Fellow professional moron and Capitol Hill rioter, Baked Alaska, congratulated him for trending on Twitter.
I actually totally forgot about that guy. Isn't he in jail? Or is he dead? It was something.
A few days later, Jacob's name was mentioned.
What happened to him, actually? He's either in jail or dead, and I can't remember which one it was. Let me see. I just keep getting the food. What was his actual name? It's jail? Okay, I'll just trust chat on that. It's one of the two. I just can't remember which one it was.
Mentioned on SNL, which he still cites as one of his greatest achievements. 8 days after the Elizabeth Warren press conference, they held another one yet again. This time to smear Kamala Harris with a bogus story about her, quote,
These are prime eyes and tier 1
with a
scowl.
26-year-old
Reset
personal
monotone.
trainer named Sean Newaldis. Wallen Berkman found Newaldis on Craigslist, where they posted a job offer for a male actor in his 20s to early 30s. Newaldis believed that he was participating in a show being developed by the defunct channel Spike TV, which had already been off the air for 2 years at that time. Newaldis also thought that the press conference was performance art, that the people who attended it were actors, and claimed that he didn't know who Kamala Harris was. I almost can't blame Newaldis for thinking that the press conference was performance art.
True.
Out of all the pressers that Wallen Berkman have held, this one's my favorite due to how truly absurd it is. It starts off with a rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner that's an absolute banger.
Join us in the singing of our national anthem. We give Miss Kylie Andrews joins us today.
Take it away,
Miss
Kylie. Voice of an angel.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Following that, a fake reverend, who's also an actor, barely manages to read an opening prayer.
Reverend Daryl Thomas will lead us in a prayer for Kamala Harris. A prayer for Kamala Harris.
Thanks for some Tim, Morthar, and Wiz.
I would like to issue the following prayer. Sodom and Gomorrah are the surrounding towns that gave themselves up to sexual immortality and perversion. Damn it be the harlot. Damn it be the whore. What? Damn it be the deviant.
What is
happening?
happening?
For the press conference, and I was like,
Did he read 50 Shades of Grey or a sermon?
Kind of compound, kind of straight up tells me, he's like, oh, I'm getting paid, $200 to give, kind of this prayer. And I was like, oh, so they're paying you. And he's like, I'm like, do you know what's going on here? And then long story short, he had no idea. So there were kind of like signs that this was completely bogus. This was all kind of a scheme.
Halfway through the press conference, Jacob Wall pretends to be served with a fake cease and desist order from Kamala Harris.
Needs and desires. Hang on. What is this? What's going on here? What's going on here?
He's like the WWE of politics. He should stone cold stunner him. Cease and desist him. Not on my watch.
Hang on. We've been served from the outside. Hey,
Hey, get the fuck off the stage. Hey,
To the
get the
Kamala
fuck
Harris
back.
2020 campaign. We will not be intimidated. This is a cease and desist, and she's asking us to cease and desist. Let me say loud and clear.
What does Vince
we have no
McMahon think,
intention of
though?
ceasing
Yeah,
and
you're right.
desisting. We will get the truth out. The truth will come out.
So yeah, it was a big, glorious mess.
Fuck.
Jacob at the
Damn you,
one of them
Harris.
had taken a
Shutting him down?
like that he turns the water on and then had a like so that it would be ready to shoot, like it was one of those, you know, a hose with at the end a you know, like a pistol thing.
I think he's having it available so he can shoot water at people, right? So the
Why?
As soon as they handed out the press release, I kind of snuck behind their little car here and turned off their hose.
He like turned the water on and had it available there so he could like spray people if they were like bothering him. And at one point he actually like tried to do that. I think they like threw a donut at him or something, and he was like, "That's it, I'm gonna get the hose."
I can't hear you. You got to tell this guy to stop, or I'm going to spray him.
No, don't. Hey, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's been brainwashed. Don't do it, Wall.
And then he like, I think he tried to spray it, but someone had turned the water off before, so it wouldn't
As
work
Resub
even
Zach.
if he tried. And that seemed to have been effective.
Here, we demand a polygraph. And
Oh,
she can
fuck,
pick
now
her
you've done
own
it.
Polygrapher. Pick her. No, don't do that.
Once Nawaldis realized what he participated
Nice.
in, he recorded a video explaining
Awesome.
how he was duped. Only 11 days after the Kamala Harris press conference, they held another one with the formerly gay and now totally straight media personality Milo Yiannopoulos.
Damn,
This
there's a
time
name I
they
haven't heard
offered
in
a 2-for-1
years.
special. Ted Cruz is a swinger, and Nancy Pelosi is a drug addict. The video of the press conference is almost unwatchable because a member of the crowd blares an air horn throughout the whole thing.
And if you are a candidate in any party,
Someone's playing the banjo.
you come here to us. You come here to us and you get those rumors. If you don't come to us, you will not run.
Also, at one point, someone starts chucking donuts at Jacob Wall.
Was wearing, you've mentioned multiple things in the past.
It is the best goddamn press conference I've ever seen in my fucking life.
The crowd was so unruly that Arlington County police showed up after receiving a
And they started throwing donuts at
woman
Jacob.
claimed that her name was Kay Feller, talked about an alleged affair.
Just in case for anyone that didn't catch the first part of the lore, this guy's supposed to be security. Why not like start catching the donuts, you know, fucking slapping him down like, hey, stop it. Get out of the way, I'm saving Wall. He just sits there. They pay him to do nothing. I'm pretty sure he's like a Craigslist actor as well. And he just got like a reoccurring gig. This guy is the true winner here. He gets paid just to hang out and like have some fun. Like no one's ever thrown donuts at Lewis. His name's Lewis. Fucking awesome. It is actually like WWE shit. This is fucking fantastic.
She had with Senator Ted Cruz, which included details of several encounters at swinger parties.
On March 17th,
Also, the whole setup reminds me of Stoop Kid from Hey Arnold.
Swingers party. The senator had an immense concern that he might be recognized, so he wore a mask that obscured his whole face.
It was later discovered that Kay Feller's name was actually Kylie Garcia Andrews,
There's a
and
prime
that she was
Willow,
the same
the
woman who
recent brace.
sang the national anthem at the Kamala Harris press conference, which was held only 11 days prior. She wore sunglasses as a disguise, and when someone asked why
It's a
she
good
was wearing them,
disguise.
Jacob claimed that she had glaucoma.
Why is your witness here or your accuser wearing glasses?
I'll tell you exactly why. It's because she's got glaucoma. Now we'd respect if you would show a little bit of reverence to her health issue. It's something that happens.
Kylie Garcia Andrews was
Good
a model
donut toss.
Wall hired off of Craigslist. He told her that she was participating in a political satire reality TV show for Spike TV. Throughout the event, Milo Yiannopoulos
I could totally
was
believe
seen
that, too.
seated and smoking cigarettes while fiddling with his cell phone. He remained mostly silent, but when he finally spoke, this is what he had to say.
Why are you a pedophile?
Well, as you know, it's been a challenging year or two for me, and unfortunately, I've fallen so far, so hard, that I've now been reduced to my previous career.
Is that Gilbert Gottfried hustling him in the back? Heckling?
Stylist.
A week later, Jacob gloated on Instagram that he hit the trending tab 9 times in 1 year, stating, "I promise you, no one else in politics has more fun than I do." On December 13th, 2019,
Fucking true, honestly.
Jack Burkman
These
tweeted that
press
Jacob
conferences
sources
are
informed
lit.
him of photos that showed United States
I
Representative
wish he wasn't
Adam
going to
Schiff,
jail for 20
together
years.
With the
Fuck,
disgraced
these are
former
awesome.
DNC donor Ed Buck and a naked black man. Ed Buck was a businessman and political fundraiser for the Democratic
He's a
National
resub
Committee.
Johnny.
In 2019, he was arrested after a man legally overdosed in his apartment. It was later discovered that Ed Buck injected him with methamphetamine. Another man died in a similar fashion in 2017. A third man overdosed after being injected by Buck, but survived. So Berkman used this horrific story to smear Adam Schiff. Jack Berkman tweeted, quote, "The salacious photos of Adam Schiff recovered during the federal raids on Ed Buck's drug dens appear to have been taken surreptitiously, according to several congressional staffers who've seen the photos. In other words, this may have been an Epstein situation." Wall and Berkman teased the photos for weeks, claiming that they planned to release them if the House GOP leadership did not do so.
Welcome to Behind the Curtain. Well, Jack in Pittsburgh. I'm a Jack from Pittsburgh. We've never had you, though, Jack. Welcome. There's another Jack. I'm a Jack from Pittsburgh originally. And Jack writes, Jack,
what a weird way of talking.
Will release tomorrow the Adam Schiff pictures. What is this all about? Well, pictures that were seized in an FBI raid of Ed Buck's drug den. Remember Ed Buck's that bad guy in Hollywood, all kind of drugs. He's running kind of like this gay drug den with young boys, all kinds of things. Adam Schiff took a lot of money from Ed Buck. Buck raised
how much money
for years, and now we have compromising pictures that have been given to us of Schiff in Buck's drug den. Can you believe it? Now, Kevin McCarthy, House Republican leadership, also has these pictures.
This has to be satire. I know, right? But it's not.
Release them. He's our House Republican colleague. We want to give him a chance. He's concealing them. Kevin, if you don't, we will. 12:01 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, the 29th
He's a tier 1
January.
Rikiri and
Everybody
squirrel.
will remember.
Or tier 1 squirrel.
Wednesday, January 29th. We'll call it the Ides of January. Okay, go to.
First, they put out an obviously photoshopped image of Adam Schiff sitting with Ed Buck. Then, after much hype, Jack Berkman finally released the salacious photos, and someone was able to find that they were just blurry screenshots taken from gay porn. In 2018, Mark Tolson, a 60-year-old...
How do we know the origin wasn't
FBI,
the Ed Buck?
accessed Jack Berkman's emails. He was able to do so because his wife worked for Jack Berkman and knew the password to Berkman's account. Tolson and his wife collected emails of interest and attempted to share it with a reporter and then an FBI agent. Tolson was later arrested and lost his job at the FBI. Mark Tolson took a plea deal, which required him to turn over 2 personal phones and 2 personal computers, and agreed to not contact Berkman again. Tolson was sentenced to 7 days
not being
in jail
able to talk
and
to
a $500
Berkman sounds
fine.
awful.
He claimed that he accessed Jack Berkman's emails in order to protect Robert Mueller from being smeared with false allegations. However, the prosecution noted that Berkman owed Tolson's wife money, and that Tolson had a personal vendetta against him. Tolson's decision to share the documents with a reporter before
this has to be another press
FBI
conference.
Also raised eyebrows.
Get the banjo
Tolson
out.
simply wanted to protect Robert Mueller from being smeared, then why run to the press? 3 months after Tolson pleaded guilty, Wall and Berkman tried to drum up hype for a press conference in which they would reveal new evidence that they claimed showed the U.S. Attorney's Office used a FISA warrant to search their personal email. The press release was clearly fabricated and no one cared, perhaps because it lacked the salacious elements of their more popular announcements. And in the end, they didn't hold a press conference.
What?
However, a few weeks later, Wall would get the attention he craved once again, albeit inadvertently. On January 3rd, 2020, Wall was mocked on Twitter after he said that he would enlist in the army if Trump attacked Iran. A screenshot of the DM was shared on Twitter, and Jacob Wall once again went trending, which I'm sure he was delighted about.
Thank you, man.
If you're familiar with the name Roger Stone, it should be clear that Jacob Wall tries to emulate him. Roger Stone is a political hatchetman who's been involved in politics since the 1970s. He did lobbying work for the campaigns of former presidents such as Richard Nixon,
no cool
Ronald
press
Reagan, and Donald
conferences.
Trump. A self-described dirty trickster, Roger Stone has been a major force in shaping the conversation surrounding electoral politics in the last 50 years. Much of Roger Stone's legacy hinges on his willingness to sow deceit and disinformation. But unlike Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman, he's actually pretty good at it. He cut his teeth as one of the pioneers of negative campaign advertising shown on television in massive doses. He was one of the early architects of the super PAC system, and he shaped what it means to be a modern DC lobbyist today. Roger Stone describes himself as an agent provocateur who is fine with achieving his political goals by utilizing distortions and half-truths. Through his willingness to use dirty tactics,
but no
he has gained
press
infamy.
conferences,
As
he
Ed
sucks.
Rollins, a Republican
No
political
Jacob
consultant,
Wall.
said, Roger was always a little rat. For most of his career,
He's a tier
Stone
1
managed
Tuesday
to remain
and
within
Prime
the
Beef.
confines of the law. But in 2019, he was arrested and indicted for lying under oath about his knowledge of Hillary Clinton's hacked emails prior to WikiLeaks publishing them. On January 25th, 2019, Roger Stone's home was raided by the FBI in connection with special counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Stone was arrested and charged with 1 count of obstruction of an official proceeding, 5 counts of false statements, and 1 count of witness tampering. A year later, a jury convicted Stone on all counts. He was eventually pardoned by Donald Trump on December 23rd, 2020.
Nice.
Wall and Berkman tried to insert themselves into Roger Stone's trial, first by creating a donation fund, then by releasing sealed jury questionnaire documents. It's unclear how they managed to get their hands on these documents. It was perhaps the first time that they had an exclusive to share with the public, but the way they shared the information was poorly executed. They arrived at...
Is that true? This guy has a giant tattoo of Richard Nixon on his back. Excuse me while I fact check. Let's see. Oh my god. Oh, I can't. I'm glad I did this on the other monitor, because in the third picture there's Roger Stone being kissed by a woman with her titties out. You are right. I was expecting it to be like a full body yearbook photo, but it's just Richard Nixon's face on his back. Yeah, I can't put it on stream. Imagine Richard Nixon on a really old guy's back. Then you've basically got it. But like Richard Nixon as he appeared in Futurama. Nice. Yeah, I mean, that guy's right. That was not a joke. He does have a Richard Nixon tattoo.
CPAC, an annual convention organized by the American Conservative Union,
Thanks,
and were
Noel
promptly
and
escorted
Rasta.
out of the building.
Hey, you tricked me. You tricked me, you.
Outside, they held a press conference.
Yes!
Wall and Berkman claimed that the juror documents revealed that the jury was packed with extreme leftists and people with ties to the CIA.
The jury was packed with people that have ties to the CIA.
Mhm.
And of course, as
Men
you
in
look
Black.
through these jury questionnaires, what I would point
Secret
out
Space Program?
is there's not a single person in this jury that says they watch Fox News. All of these people say that they're religious Rachel Maddow viewers, that they're religious Chris Hayes viewers, that they are religious followers of Russiagate conspiracy theory.
Where's the banjo guy?
During all of this, Jack and Jacob have an event where they release the jury questionnaires, which
Thanks,
are
Rusev.
confidential
Sir
materials that are meant to prove on their behalf that somehow these jurors are irredeemably biased.
Yeah, I know about the Killer Bean game.
Now, what these work out to basically are just jurors who say, like, I watch MSNBC and stuff. I mean, this is not really, like, groundbreaking stuff.
Roger Stone asked for a retrial, citing the single juror who said that she watches Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes. She also listed left-leaning publications like CNN, Politico, and The Hill. The foreperson was also the only one on the jury who described Roger Stone's arrest as being connected to Russian collusion in the 2016 election.
What?
As for the claim that the jury was packed with individuals from the CIA and the FBI, well, one juror said that they had a friend who worked with the FBI, and another juror said that their father worked with the CIA in the 1960s. So even though Wall and Berkman finally managed to get their hands on legitimate documents, they failed to do anything with their scoop other than wildly exaggerate its contents and make baseless claims.
But they had another
Sometime
great
later,
press
it was
conference, and
disclosed
that's
that
all
the
that matters
FBI
at the end of the
investigated
day.
Wall and Berkman
Fucking
for
slapped
potential
again.
witness harassment, criminal contempt, and obstruction of justice for releasing the confidential juror questionnaires.
But apparently it catches the attention of the FBI because these materials are supposed to be
Thanks to Tier 1
confidential.
art.
And Jack and Jacob
Same,
must
yeah.
have gotten them somehow.
Thanks, Prime Silent.
Did they get them from the prosecutors? Maybe, probably not. More likely, someone on Roger Stone's defense team. So, a website down in the Cayman Islands noticed that these papers were put in the U.S. court system, immediately sealed. I got them. And essentially, there's an ongoing investigation, as we talk now, into Jack and Jacob over the leak of these materials. Apparently, there's some federal prosecutors involved.
Now, I think it's
the
important
FBI
we
involved,
weigh how
and they
awesome
did a
their
search
press
warrant,
conferences are.
on them. So
That
it's
should play a role here.
You know, it's potentially legally a very serious situation for them.
I agree,
This
it could
marked
be
the second
legally
time that the
devastating,
duo was
but
investigated by the FBI.
let's just remember the press
The
conferences.
first investigation took place during the
Before we make
Robert
any
Mueller
rash
smear.
decisions.
Before you started, but you are releasing the names of all 12 jurors.
That's right. The names of all the jurors are here. Make no
Generally
mistake.
Speaking, right?
And their information, their full questionnaires.
Only 2 of them have actually put their names out to the public. So you're basically how the public is going to have the rest of them. How do you see that ethically? Generally, people consider it unethical for journalists, etc.
With the ethics, I'm not a philosopher. I don't comment on ethics. I can comment on legality. I'm a lawyer. There's nothing illegal about it in any way.
Sometime in April 2020, Jacob Wall made an OnlyFans account.
Oh!
The guys who run the podcast, Yeah But Still, paid for it and said that it was just full of shirtless photos of Jacob. Why someone would pay
That sounds
$50
about
for
right.
that, other than as a joke, is beyond my comprehension. Although there are people like Brad Palumbo who wrote an article called "It's Okay to Admit That Jacob Wall is Extremely
Reese of
Attractive,"
Daksha
so
and
I guess he
Sapphire.
does have some admirers. A few months after launching his OnlyFans account, he made a video called My 7 Months Not Natural Transformation, in which he explained how steroids helped him sculpt his newly acquired physique. It was around this time that he started to sell a fitness course.
People look at this photo, and I still get the messages, and they say, steroids! Steroids, you did steroids. Well, yeah, I did. You bet.
Wallen Berkman's next smear
Fuck
attempt
yeah,
was
and I'll
against
do it
Dr.
again.
Anthony Fauci. Jacob's
Tune into
girlfriend
my
at the
next
time,
press conference.
Diana Andrade, emailed a number of journalists a fake story about being sexually assaulted by Fauci in 2014. It's startling how similar this smear attempt was to the Robert Mueller smear. You'd think that they would have learned from that screw-up, but no, they pretty much made all the same mistakes. First, a press release was sent to journalists announcing a presser in which Diana Andrade would speak about her sexual assault by Fauci. On the press release was the names of her supposed representation. 2 lawyers, Rhonda Abramson and Richard Whitley. Rhonda Abramson was confirmed to be a fake identity fairly quickly. Reporters at the Daily Dot looked into her fake law firm and couldn't find proof that it existed.
Oh, it probably did.
Confirmed that she worked at the company she
I don't
listed
doubt it.
on her LinkedIn account
Jacob
as
Wall's
her
reliable.
former
I don't
employers.
think he'd fuck this
Moreover,
up.
they ran her profile picture through a website called Have They Faked Me, which showed that the photo was likely an AI-generated image. When the Daily Dot reached out to Wall, he told them that he had
Is he
nothing to
Simpson?
do with the Fauci accuser. Despite that, he and Jack Berkman showed up on the day of the press conference, which was organized as a conference call between themselves and journalists. When they arrived,
Damn,
they
not
stated that
nearly
they
as
were
cool.
asked to participate due to them being, quote, preeminent subject matter experts in the field of Me Too. 10 days later, Andrade fessed up to lying about the sexual assault and accepting money from Wallen Berkman to do so. She recorded a phone call which is quite revealing in showing how the duo pressures
Jesus
people to
Christ.
participate in their smears.
Well, I actually want to talk to you guys because I'm kind of like paranoid and dealing with a lot of emotions, and
Yeah.
I want you guys to
Yeah, Jacob
assure
Wall
me
will do that. He'll do that to you.
everything's fine. But I don't think it is. So
What could be wrong, Diana? What could be wrong? I mean, I think everything's just fine. You did the job. You did a good job. You got paid. What's the problem? What seems to be the issue? You're freaking out. You're texting me late at night. What's the issue?
don't know what to do with all this cash. I mean, someone told me. I mean, you guys told me I was gonna get a wire transfer, and I didn't get a wire transfer.
Well,
Now
it's
I
on
have
its
this
way.
cash,
Like,
and
it's
I look
coming.
Like I can't walk into a bank with this, especially during these times. What am I gonna say? Where did I get this money from? They're gonna think I'm like
You
a.
don't go to the ATM for 2 years. Just keep the money. You don't have to deposit it. Just keep it. Go to an ATM for 2 years. That's all.
Well, even if I was to distribute this or find a way to get rid of it or keep it safe, I mean, I still feel like, I kind of just want to give it back, and actually, I don't know what to do because
Okay, so you have the cash. The deal. We did what we did. I don't understand what the problem
I
is.
just
Okay, so
feel like
done. It's over.
I don't think this was the right thing to do because I'm looking
How
at guys
dumb
who
is this
see
guy?
his statements.
Oh
I
my God.
I wanted to become a doctor as well, you know? You guys know this. I was studying biochemistry. And
So listen, okay, shut the fuck up. You know that we're evil, and you know that we faked all of these stories, and we paid you for it.
Just trying to
What's the problem?
destroy him, like bring him down, have all these accusations. I mean, he seems like a nice guy, just trying to save people's lives.
When you deal with a man, this guy shut the country down. He put 40 million people out of work. In a situation like that, you have to make up whatever you have to make up to stop that train. And that's the way life works, okay? That's the way it goes.
I feel like you guys are not.
This is the
connected at all
dumbest
with
man.
science.
Holy shit.
I don't think you guys think this thing is.
Viruses like this happen for a reason, okay?
It's not just any virus. I mean, it's a huge deal. I mean, I don't even think you guys think it's the real virus. I think you guys think it's like something made up, and it's not.
Look, here's the thing. Mother Nature has to clean the barn every so often. I mean, I don't see anything, how real it is, who knows? But, so what if 1% of the population goes? So what if you lose 400,000 people? 200,000 of them are elderly. The other 200,000 are the bottom of society. You got to clean the barn.
So what?
If it's real, it's a positive thing, for God's sakes. You were readily...
Is this this is an actual living, breathing human being? He is on this call, admitting to so many crimes with like the whole fake story and everything which he's been outed for like his whole career, and he's still just going on and on and on. It's a full-blown supervillain monologue without the slightest inkling of suspicion, despite the fact that this girl is being really obvious with what she's saying. Like, I feel like most people would be like, it's a pretty leading thing to say. Is she trying to get me to openly admit to this actual crime? Might as well do it just in case. I'll admit to it and we'll see what happens. It's fucking crazy. Needs to be some fishy and Ahab. Like, I thought for like 1 second that maybe Jack was some kind of fucking crazy performance artist who would just go along with these press conferences as some kind of long-form comedic joke. Because he was the only one that was constantly laughing at Jacob on stage while getting pelted with donuts. So I thought, maybe there's that chance, right? But holy shit. Jacob, completely hopeless. The only thing he has left is his OnlyFans. My God.
And now we're done. That's all.
There's be some
Okay,
fallout.
look, we're one and done. Okay, so you made up a story. So what? You got tape for it. Who cares? You
He
made
just
up a
keeps,
story about
he keeps referencing it.
And that's it. That's all there is. Don't talk to anyone about this. Not your parents, not anyone. And it'll be fine.
Okay. And is Dr. Fauci fine? I mean, is everything going to be fine with him?
Get on with him. Don't worry. Get on with him. So what? So what? You made up a story. Grow up, for Christ's sake. I mean, Jesus Christ. Come on now.
Sometime later, Walt Berkman and Diana Andrade called into a radio show, and it's a fascinating listen.
None other than Jacob Wall joining us right now on the line.
Easy Tier 1
Jacob, I appreciate you
Apotheosis.
coming on. How are you?
Larissa Pondi.
Yeah, I'm here, guys, and it's great to join you on the show. And also with me, I thought it would be great. I have Jack Berkman as well, and I have Diana, the girl who yesterday blew the whistle. She joins us here on the phone as well.
Diana, I appreciate you coming on. I guess I will start with you. All the reports came out yesterday that you claim that you were paid by Jacob Wall to lie and say that Dr. Fauci sexually assaulted you. Why did you say that, and what can you tell us about it?
Some chief.
No, I did not say this. I did not say this, and this didn't happen.
So you were not sexually assaulted?
No.
So how are you connected to Jacob Wall then and Jack Berkman? I'm completely confused because all the reports that came out in the last several days.
I'm also mildly perplexed.
I am. All the reports that came out yesterday are claiming that you were told that you were paid to smear Dr. Fauci.
No, that makes no sense.
And now you're telling me that this sexual assault never happened in the
I
first
signed up
place,
to
so I'm
Jacob Wall's
extremely
OnlyFans.
confused.
And
What's the truth here?
I was paid to lie, but I didn't lie.
Oh.
So who paid you to lie?
Oh, right.
I'm not sure.
Well, okay,
You know, let me jump in.
No. I'll let you jump in a second. Hold on a second, Jack. Hang on a second. You're telling me.
She said that
hold on a second.
that she took
JD,
the money.
JD,
She took the money
hang
and,
on a
and
second.
didn't follow through
JD,
with her end of the
you
agreement.
got to let me. Ma'am, with all due respect, you're telling me you were told to lie, and you can't tell us on live radio now who told you to lie? Ma'am, that makes no sense.
No,
You're losing credibility
it was like
by
a.
the second.
It was like a man in a hood.
Jacob told me to lie.
I want to go to Jacob.
He
right
kept
now.
saying like,
Jacob, now you have a
Anakin,
woman- hold on. Now you have a woman
Misa,
on the line
no
right
thank
now.
you.
You
Jar Jar.
yourself who
Binks,
says
fuck, that's
you
who it was.
told her to lie and you paid her to smear Dr. Fauci. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, she did not say that I paid her. First of all, she did not
just
say
said
I
that.
paid
That's
her. I
not
think
true.
we
She
should
just
make
said
clear.
that. Jacob, with all due
No,
respect,
she didn't, and I'm sure
just
she'd be
said
happy to
you
say,
told
I
her to lie.
paid
Okay, well, let's ask her then. Who paid you? Who paid you? Ma'am, with all due respect, who paid you?
I didn't know the guy. He came somewhere and you know.
But you brought up Jacob's name.
He was wearing
Okay, you brought
sunglasses
up
and
Jacob's
a
name.
suit,
You
had a
specifically
briefcase.
just said that
DB
Jacob
Cooper,
told you
I
to
think.
lie. He gave you a
Yeah,
script.
Jacob told me to lie.
Okay, Jacob, why are you telling her to lie?
Well, I disagree with her characterization, and I will tell you that.
You disagree with the characterization?
From the very beginning, we're concerned with the truth and only the truth. That's what
She
we're
just
in,
said you
that's what
told her
we're in
to
this for.
lie. Jacob, I like you. Okay,
And Brian, keep in mind that Jack alluded to the fact that they are following marching orders as well.
He's a bitch, Papa Boys.
They are being told to tell someone else to do something based on apparently someone as high as the President of the United States.
Listen, Jacob, look, you're a funny guy. You're well-spoken. I appreciate you guys coming
Well-spoken.
Did you expect this woman to
Yeah.
get on the line right now and basically call you a liar? Because that's what she just did.
Well, I don't know if that's what she said, but I'm glad that we clarified.
Hold on a second.
Hold
Hold on a second. Jacob, I'm sorry to interrupt you. See, when you say stuff like that, you lose credibility. She just called you a liar 5 minutes ago. She just said, quote, Jacob told me to lie. And then you say, well, I don't know if that's what she said. I'm sorry, I have to hold you to account. That's exactly what she said. Why can't you answer
That's
that
not what she
question?
said. She didn't say
just
that.
called you a liar.
She didn't say that. Well, it's up to debate. Up for debate.
I don't agree with that characterization. I don't think that's really what she said. I think what she
On June
No,
3rd,
it's up for debate. What she
Wallen
actually,
Berkman put out a press release
the
in
line
which
was
riots
spotty. We were
caused
going
by
through a
the death of
tunnel.
George Floyd.
No one knows what
It
she
said that they
said.
would assemble 800 attack dogs for defense of the suburbs. Of course, that never happened. They also visited protests to own the libs by yelling at them to go home with a loudspeaker.
You're very overweight. Please get out of the road.
Thanks for you said, Panda.
You are ordered to disperse. Vicious dogs are on the way. Donald Trump is your president.
On July 2nd, 2020, Wallen Berkman held a press conference claiming that they were paid $20,000 to defend Ghislaine Maxwell, which turned out to be another lie.
No, that was probably
There is no
real.
person that walks the earth today that is a bigger victim of Jeffrey Epstein's than Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh my.
See, what you have is a number of allegations against
Whoa.
Jeffrey Epstein, against Ghislaine Maxwell. And what we now know is that the group of people that have brought these
They did upgrade their security.
Are
More
not
than just
credible.
Lewis now.
One might just say that it's a sea of whores.
On September 14th, 2020,
Wow.
they faked an FBI raid on Jack Berkman's house. Turns out that they hired actors off of Craigslist to pose as FBI agents. Why they did this? Again, who knows? And on September 20th, 2020, Jacob Wall got punched at a Ruth Bader Ginsburg morning event.
And he ate that punch like a man. Dude probably broke his fist on his teeth. Because he's a fucking man.
The next day, he went on social media to whine about it a lot. On August 3rd, 2020, Merritt Corrigan, a former deputy White House liaison for the U.S. Agency of
He's a friend,
International
Jimmy.
Development, was fired after she posted homophobic tweets. Our homo empire could not tolerate even one commercial enterprise not in full submission to the tyrannical LGBT agenda. For too long, I've remained silent as the media has attacked me for my Christian beliefs, which are shared by the majority of Americans. Let me be clear. Gay marriage isn't marriage. Men aren't women. The United
Wow.
States is losing ground in the battle to garner influence through humanitarian aid because we now refuse to help countries who don't celebrate sexual deviancy. Meanwhile, Russia and China are
Thanks,
happy
Yusuf
to
Atomic.
step in and eat our lunch. And again, in another tweet, she wrote, I watched with horror this week as USAID distributed taxpayer-funded documents claiming we cannot tell someone's sex or gender by looking at them, and that not calling oneself cisgendered is a microaggression. I'm not cis anything. I'm a woman. Corrigan announced that she would appear at a press conference held by
Hey, this is that guy that
Jack
was upset
to
about
discuss,
not being able to
quote,
fuck an
the
Eminem, right?
rampant anti-Christian sentiment at USAID. Corrigan never attended the press conference. Instead, hours before it was meant to take place, she claimed that Wallen Berkman kidnapped her. She released a statement that said she didn't make the tweets that got her fired, and that Wallen Berkman forcibly took her devices to do so. In response, Wall said in a statement that he and Merritt Corrigan were involved in a, quote, intense sexual relationship. Okay, finally, I'm going to talk about the robocalls.
Mail-in voting sounds great, but did you know that if you vote by mail, your personal information will be part of a public
Thanks for some
database
Bahar
that will be
in the
used
prime
by
acid.
departments to track down old warrants and be used by credit card companies to collect outstanding debt. The CDC is even pushing to use records for mail-in voting to track people for mandatory vaccines. Don't be finessed into giving your private information to the man. Stay safe and beware of vote by mail.
What you just listened to is a robocall which was sent to 85,000 people
Wow.
in Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Illinois. These robocalls targeted mostly black people in disenfranchised neighborhoods with the purpose of deterring them from voting in the 2020 election. The robocall stated that mail-in voting would be used by police departments to track down old warrants, as well as by debt collectors, and by the CDC to track down people.
So this is why they're facing 20 years then, huh?
In Michigan, the Attorney General filed several charges against Wall and Berkman for disseminating the robocalls. On October 8, 2020, the duo turned themselves in to the Detroit Detention Center. They arrived with a camera crew and smiled in their mugshots.
Aww.
Their bond was set at $100,000.
So sweet. They look so innocent.
They were sued in New York by the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, who argued that they violated the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871. They said that Wall and Berkman spread disinformation, which purposely targeted black voters in urban areas in order to intimidate those voters into not participating in the 2020 election. The judge granted their request for a restraining order against Wall and Berkman to prevent them from sending additional robocalls. The judge also ordered them to notify every recipient of the calls that the robocalls were false and illegal. They also sent robocalls to Ohio and were charged with several felonies there as well. They pleaded not guilty, but a verdict has yet to be made. Okay, so that's about...
Can they still do press conferences in jail, though?
Done. The only thing I haven't really covered was their latest press conference on Matt Gaetz and Rudy Giuliani, but it's not very interesting.
Oh.
There was no substance to the allegations, but the press conference itself was sort of entertaining since Zach Patrizio and Ford Fisher constantly called Wall and Berkman out on their bullshit. Sorry this took so long to finish. This was a hell of a chore. I am really happy that I am finished covering these guys. If you've been following me on Twitter,
God,
you probably
another
see that I've been
banger.
complaining about it a whole lot. So, if you like what
Part
I do,
2
please
was
consider
even
supporting
better
this
than
channel
part
on Patreon.
1.
I would like to hire a team of people to help me
Fuck.
put these things out faster. By the
That
way,
was
I
good.
also have a movie podcast now, which I started with my good friend, the Kino Corner, and it's called The Kino Cast.
Holy shit, did he actually
We have
interview
guests
Walt?
on like Jared Gilman, who stars in the movie Moonrise Kingdom. So check that out if you're interested. And until next time.
God, that was good. Those press conferences, man, are so fucking amazing. Oh, it just kept getting better and better. They need to bring that banjo guy pretty much everywhere. I'm surprised the banjo guy wasn't there at their court dates. Yeah, Oki never misses, man. Oki makes so many good videos.
Chances are that you
Is
have
Prime
no
Aqua?
idea who Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman are.
That's 100%
Well, in that
accurate.
case, sit tight while I fill you in on the details of the shenanigans. And believe me, there's a lot to get through with these two, and most of it's nuts.
Today we're presenting some very serious allegations against
He
Senator
kinda-
Elizabeth Warren.
He kind of
She
looks
was-
like a John Schnatter if he was less greasy. John Schnatter's Papa John, the guy who claimed he'd eat 40 full pizzas in like a month or whatever, or a week, whatever the fuck it was. The man who's perpetually covered in oil. They look super similar.
Involved in a very explicit relationship with a male escort who stands to my left side, a decorated
Hey.
U.S. combat veteran, somebody who served our country, a war hero, truly. I don't think this is a funny thing.
Why are they? What's going
You're
on?
probably wondering what's happening here.
Yeah.
What you're watching is footage from a press conference in which Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman promised to expose Senator Elizabeth Warren for an extramarital affair involving this guy, Kelvin Willey, who claimed to be a male escort.
Senator Elizabeth Warren first secured my services from a website called Cowboys for Angels. This
Wow.
site is for attractive young men, as you can see. At the time, Senator Warren wanted not just rough sex, but extensive BDSM play. I'm sure you're quite
Why is this
familiar with
happening?
her. She was very sexually adventurous. And Senator Warren engaged in lesbian sex with my friend from high school.
Well, hold on, hang on. What we're going to show you now, is that the sex between our client here and Senator Warren was so violent that he actually obtained scars on his back. You can see 2 scars here.
Oh, he has a triple X tattoo. Like, that's nutty. Xander Cage, baby. His only tattoo is the triple X logo. This is classic Vin Diesel. Ice Cube in the sequel, too.
Was from the Cat o' Nine Tails. That was from Senator Warren's transgressions.
Unbelievable.
Between late 2018 and 2020, Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman held several press conferences to smear major United States politicians with completely fabricated stories. The circus-like spectacle of their attempted Elizabeth Warren smear has all of the common hallmarks of one of their press conferences. Most of them are held in front of Jack Berkman's house. A TV out front displays a graphic pertaining to the event. This one says, Elizabeth Warren, cougar? Their security guard, Louise, stands there looking confused.
Get that guy out of there. He's freaking me out. Get that guy out of there.
Come on.
They bring out an accuser who can barely read the script handed to them without laughing or messing up the details.
Using a lime green strap-on dildo. As I can remember.
Is it supposed to be a comedy routine? Because this is great.
And a crowd of hecklers form just to mock the living shit out of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, people just saw right through it. I mean, there were continuous lies.
Other common fixtures of these events are a guy playing a banjo.
Hey, you're gonna have to stop with the banjo, or you're gonna be kicked out. Yeah.
Well,
No, listen.
Louise isn't gonna do anything. He hasn't done anything yet.
No, you're gonna have to stop. You're gonna have to stop with the banjo.
Thanks to Yusuf Chevalier and Oasis.
A spread of donuts, a guy in a corn cob costume.
This is amazing. It's like Comic-Con.
And Will Summer, a reporter
for
for the
25
Daily
gift
Beast,
subs
who was kind
abrasive.
enough to talk to me for
Thank
this
you,
video.
man.
You seem like
Oh,
you're the
sorry.
world's foremost
Sorry, Trash.
Jacob Wall expert.
We got carried away. Thank you for the
Unfortunately,
25 gift subs, Trash.
So why is this interesting? Clearly these guys are just attention-seeking trolls or a sideshow act, right?
Thanks, Yusuf.
Well, I think it's far more sinister than that. Currently, they're facing legal battles in 3 different states for their antics. Jacob Wall, who only recently turned 23, has also been hit with unrelated felony charges for fraud. Their actions have only served to irreparably tarnish their reputations. Reputations that were already sullied to begin with. If their intentions have been motivated by their political beliefs, then their smears have only been a detriment to their cause. And
I
if they're
disagree. I
simply
think they've done a
trolls,
great
Well,
job.
then the joke's on them, since they're both facing the possibility of serious time in federal prison for their latest stunt. What remains unclear to me is
Thank you for the 10 gift subs.
why do
Socks.
they do what
Appreciate
they do?
that. Thank you.
What do they gain? What motivates them to constantly shoot themselves in the foot? That's the point
you,
of this
Socks.
video. It's to take a deep look into the lives of 2 men whose actions just confound me.
I don't think I've ever seen them before.
Hi, I'm Jacob Wolf. I'm running for ASB Treasurer. If you want more
Who's Yusuf
dances,
Baker and Tier
more
1
spirit days,
Punk
more
Star?
lunchtime competitions, and a better treasurer, then you need to vote for me. The way I'll promise more money is to do better fundraisers and better dances that will bring in more money for the school. And
All right,
more
he's got
money
my
for more
vote.
fun for you. These people sure want Jacob to be treasurer.
Jacob Wall was born on December 12, 1997, in Los
Prime
Angeles,
wisdom.
California. His father, David Wall, is a criminal defense attorney and media personality.
Thanks to Tier
His
1
mother,
Crunk.
a social worker. A child of divorce who grew up in Corona, California, Jacob spent his youth shooting guns, playing basketball, and accompanying his father to television news studios.
Oh, he just got fucking dunked on. In his own highlight reel. Come on.
It's got one
Have mercy.
caliber slug and 3 double-aught buckshot pellets in here, and we're gonna test it out on.
Thank you for
this
another
piece of
10
paper.
socks. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
In 2003,
Thank you,
his
generosity.
father, David Wall, joined CBS2 Palm Springs as a legal analyst covering the trial of convicted murderer Scott Peterson. Following that, he appeared on Fox News as an occasional commentator. Although David Wall pursued a career as an on-air reporter, his ambitions never quite panned out. These days, he focuses on his career as a lawyer, sharing his conservative political beliefs on Twitter, and posing shirtless in boudoir calendars.
Wait, I'd like to read that caption. Not too far. The Breck Worsham official 2020 calendar. I thought this was his own post. Pretty cool. I mean, the dad bods, it's in, man. It's here to stay. MAGA just got hot. Nice. Is this not like a problem for him in like his career? Considering he's like an actual legal lawyer? I feel like posing for bourgeois calendars is probably not great. Why would it be? Because they have to maintain like a crazy strict image, don't they? Thanks the resub Mush and the Prime Burger. And the gift sub Punkstar and the resub Dottie and Evie. If Saul Goodman can do it, he can. I guess that's true. Thank you, Trash. I need this man to defend me in court shirtless. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I've seen his nipples now. So that to me, that screams vulnerability.
Boudoir calendars.
Win, lose. A lot of my childhood came down to winning or losing. And I love
Is that true, Trash? God damn,
Today
thank
on
you.
Daily Vice.
Thank you, Trash.
Jacob Wohl is an 18-year-old hedge fund manager who's already made a name for himself in the business.
The origin story of how Jacob Wohl became interested in the stock market is fuzzy, mostly due to his inclination for embellishment. If you take Jacob's word to heart, then he was a financial prodigy who shorted 5 shares of SPY when he was only 8.
My first trade was shorting 5 shares of SPY when I was 8. And,
Hold on, let's back up for a second. Shorting 5 shares of SPY, but who taught you this stuff?
He taught himself.
More, here's
Prodigy.
Mark Meelan, a leading expert in non-correlated investing and journalist who covered Jacob Wohl's early days.
He claimed that when he was 8 years old, he shorted 5 shares of SPY. And can you explain what that is and why you're laughing?
Okay, because I've had kids. An 8-year-old kid, I guess it's possible.
It's not only possible, it
Consider
happened.
Highly unlikely.
And
if
everyone
you look
clapped.
At Wohl's life, you can break it down into patterns of deception. He had his hedge fund period, but then there was a discernible, repeatable pattern that after he got out of his hedge fund period, he later spiraled into something completely different in the political world, but it followed a lot of the same patterns. Make outlandish statements that are provably false or have a high propensity to potentially be false, and then get into
I'm sure everyone knows it's
degrees
false.
of legal and or regulatory trouble, and then it all blows up on him.
When Jacob was a 17-year-old junior in high school, he parlayed his interest in the stock market to become a commodities trading advisor for average Joes like his gym teacher. The operation was most definitely small time.
Why
but
would
it made for a
why
nice
would his
little human interest
gym
story
gym
for local
teacher
cable
trust
news
him?
stations like KTLA, which featured him in a segment called Orange County High School Hedge Fund Manager Earns the Nickname Wall of Wall Street. Wall of Wall Street being an obvious play on the movie Wolf of Wall Street, and definitely a moniker that Jacob assigned to himself.
So I want to get on Monster Energy as an underlying. I'm very competitive and I'm good with numbers, so it's almost a natural.
Excuse me, I'd like to own Red Bull.
Group about 4 months ago.
What do you mean,
with
no?
his classmates as his first investors.
And then it just grew from there to their parents, and then their grandparents, uncles, aunts, you name it. And in general, just people from the community, like teachers, coaches.
Nice job, guys. Nice job.
One of those coaches
keep up the good work.
is Jacob's PE teacher.
Yeah, a little skeptical at first. You know, you're thinking, I mean, it's my first year teaching high school.
Why,
I'm 8 years
Shane?
in junior high, so I know the kids are obviously smarter in high school, and I thought, man, well, this might be a genius kid.
Utilizing a value stock picking approach inspired by Warren Buffett, Jacob launched Wall Capital Investment Group, which solicited middle-class clients and promised them the world. And no, I'm not being tongue-in-cheek here. That's what it said in his promotional materials, that he promised them the world. Dude was running a dinky little hedge fund out of his mom's basement, and he acted like he was Gordon Gekko. He even dressed like him, too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was there somebody that influenced you, or was there
Gordon Gekko, if anybody?
Really?
Yeah.
So you liked him or you hated him?
No, I liked Gordon Gekko. I always thought he was a cool guy.
Okay.
Greed, for lack of a better word.
Exhibits wander.
You can categorize hedge funds in a couple different ways. One way is to look at who their investors are. His investors were middle class mom and pop. That's a huge red flag. A hedge fund generally speaking, is used by institutional investors, very sophisticated investors, and high net worth individuals. The fact that he was soliciting, at that point, his gym investor, he was soliciting a stock investment. So that stock
that doesn't seem like a red flag to me.
SEC regulations. But when he was also soliciting derivatives investments, he was soliciting mom and pop. People who don't really
I don't know shit about hedge funds. When does GameStop come in?
Ins and outs.
Because that's what matters to
particularly
me.
of derivatives, which can be sophisticated investment tools.
Still in high school, Jacob, who was
His
by
Wall's
no
not
means a
preaching
big
the good
player,
word of
other than
GME.
perhaps in his own mind,
He's not
decided
qualified.
that he was ready for the big leagues. Even though Wall Capital was nothing more than a cute little project funded by adults eager to support a young man's passions, Jacob boasted in promotional material that his firm used a guerrilla warfare mentality towards investing that was able to outperform the institutional giants
I am here to
again
expose the
and
evil.
again. Around this time, Jacob appeared on Fox News
exactly
to
what I'm
promote
doing.
Wall Capital Investment,
Oki
which
is
he had
evil for
taken
trying to say
calling
Wool's not
the
a
most
genius.
revolutionary hedge fund in the world.
In 1975, IBM ran the personal computer game. And if you wanted to have a personal computer, you had to be super rich. Until a young kid named Steve Jobs came around and changed the whole thing. That's what I'm here to do.
Wait a minute. You are going to change the whole
He's Steve
investing
Jobs,
world like
dumb
Johnson
asshole.
Change the computing world?
That's what I'm going to try to do, Stuart.
And this actually worked to attract a handful of investors.
How did he go
impressed by
from
the
this
17-year-old's on-air
to talking
appearance.
about BDSM
And this is where the story
roleplay?
takes a darker turn, because Jacob Wall decided to scam the ever-living shit out of them.
I see.
So Jacob kind of breaks onto the scene.
that's how we get there.
Outside of his high school or whatever.
Okay.
His first sort of brush with infamy is when he claims to be kind of this teen hedge fund genius, and he has a couple of these quote-unquote hedge funds. I believe he goes on Fox News. He gets on TV a couple times as kind of this like wonderkin.
Fox News really does
In
bring
reality,
anyone on.
It's basically a fiction. It doesn't really exist, and so he's pitching these investors and he's getting tens of thousands of dollars, but he's not really making the returns he claims he's making.
In March 2015, a man named David Diedrich contacted Jacob after seeing him on TV. When they spoke on the phone, Jacob
baby, these are
grossly
big numbers.
mischaracterized the size and scope of Wall Capital Investment Group. He told Diedrich that it managed 178 accounts and between $9 to $10 million in assets, even though the reality was that Wall Capital had no more than 13 investors
It's
and
pretty
managed
close.
no more than $500,000 in assets at any time.
No,
he also
it's
claimed that Wall Capital Investments
slight
trades had a
exaggeration.
99.5% profitability of profit. Jacob described these numbers to Diedrich as textbook trading for Wall Capital. Diedrich sent him a $75,000 investment in 3 different payments between March and October 2015. Months later, Jacob told Diedrich that his investment had grown to $89,000.
Let's go.
But when Diedrich wanted to collect, Jacob only paid him $44,000 after stalling for several days. Less than half of his initial investment and purported
That's pretty
gains.
good.
Jacob told Diedrich that the difference was due to losses. But an investigation by the National Futures Association indicated that his trading account told a different story. He was actually making money, not losing it. The National Futures Association
That's actually
is
shocking.
a self-regulatory
Actually shocking.
organization for the U.S. derivatives industry.
He's the chosen
Jacob
one.
became a member of the NFA in February 2016. As a member of the NFA, Jacob was required to comply with their rules in order to continue to operate his commodities advisory firm. So when David Diedrich sent a complaint to the NFA saying that Jacob defrauded him, they launched an investigation.
I think another one of the interesting sub-tracks of this whole story is that
I think what I love
he
most
ran
about when
into
Oki
a
does one of these deep
regulator
dives is he
who
brings
takes their
on
job
people like this.
as a sheriff to protect investors seriously. And that's when he ran into the NFA, the National Futures Association, which is an independent self-regulatory body that polices the derivatives industry to root out guys exactly like Jacob Wool. There's this derivatives industry that's very tough regulator. And so what does Wool do? Wool goes into that industry.
And makes millions.
How preposterous is that?
The National Futures Association
It's
learned
called
of 2
being
trading
bold.
accounts
He's Steve
controlled by
Jobs,
Jacob
baby.
Wall. One
Didn't
in
you
the
listen?
name of NEX Capital, and the other in the name of Michelle Wall, Jacob's mother. The NFA complaint reads, "These accounts had a total of approximately $260,000 in deposits.
trading gains of approximately $36,000.
This makes me feel extremely unintelligent. Well, here, I'll break down something simple for you. Start an NFT. Hey, millions, baby. Keep in mind, anyone can do it. I bring this up every time. This guy made over $1 million just posting this selfie. He'd take a selfie every day and sold them as NFTs, baby. So if ever you feel dumb when seeing something like this scam, just know you too can scam people, man. Anyone can do it. It's right there at your fingertips. You just gotta maybe NFTs, pivot, crypto, something. There's so many ways of scamming. Yeah, maybe you can't manage a fake hedge fund, all right? Okay, barrier to entry there, it's a little high. You have to have, apparently your mom sign off on it, your dad already has to be rich, and your gym teacher's got to be a fucking idiot. And then you actually have to set up with the NFA. Yeah, I can understand a lot of hoops there, but bro, you can take a selfie. You can take a selfie right now and just mint it on the blockchain. It's free. I mean, not for the environment, it's not, but hey, when you're multi-millionaire from selfies, who cares, right? Fuck it. Pollute. There's so many ways to scam.
And about $296,000 in withdrawals. On June 20th, 2016, a team of NFA investigators made an unannounced visit to what they thought was NEX Capital's headquarters. What they found when they visited what Jacob listed as the main office of NEX Capital wasn't what they expected. Instead of an office, they found a residential home, Jacob's father's house. When they rang the buzzer, no one answered.
Oh.
Their emails and phone calls
Too busy
also
making
went
money.
unanswered.
And they have this great report where it's like, you know, we went to the first address he said he had listed for his business.
This guy kind of looks like Jamie
and,
Kennedy.
You know, we see a guy peeking out the window and then he won't answer the door. And then they go to another house and there's a little kid who answers the door. It's supposed to be an office and it's just a little kid and it's presumably like Jacob's brother or something.
That same day, they visited an address Jacob listed as the location of the firm's books and records. What they found there was another dead end. The address took them to an office at La Sierra University, which was closed at the time. So here's where things get even funnier.
But then Jacob bought it.
Jacob's dad called the NFA team, furious with them for what he called stalking his son, and threatened to file a report against them with the LAPD. Additionally, he argued that the NFA had no authority over his son or NEX Capital, as Jacob had withdrawn his membership earlier that month. This is partially true. Jacob did request withdrawal of his membership from the NFA on June 13, 2016. But the NFA rules state that a request to withdraw membership becomes effective 30 days after the withdrawal request is made.
Have the hedge
It was
fund?
the 23rd of June, and Wall made his request to withdraw membership on June 13th. So Jacob was still a member and had to comply with their investigation, which is exactly what they informed David and Jacob by email.
Here's the bottom line. There are some exceptions, but by and large, if you sell a commodity investment, offer it to the public, you have to register. Now, if you're just trading commodities, you don't need to register. But if you're selling it, you have to register.
Instead of listening, David Wall repeated that he had contacted the LAPD, and any attempts to contact Jacob would result in their arrest and prosecution.
Looks like a trustworthy
Their
guy.
hands tied and Jacob refusing to comply with their investigation, the NFA decided to permanently bar Jacob Wall and NEX Capital from NFA membership, which effectively meant that he was permanently banned from running a hedge fund that managed futures derivatives trading. This wasn't the
that's
only
what I was
time
saying.
David Wall threatened.
How can you just pull out of an NFA if you're managing a hedge fund, right? I didn't even know that was like an option. I thought you had to be with the NFA to even have that kind of shit. But I guess it's only one. I'm kind of a fucking idiot when it comes to like hedge funds and shit. But I feel like without that, why would you ever trust the hedge fund?
Legal action against someone he perceived as harassing his son. He did the same thing to William Legate, a software developer best known for creating the iOS application Fake-A-Text when he was 14. David Wall first contacted Legate after he refused to remove tweets about Jacob. David Wall was particularly upset about a photoshopped image of Jacob Wall wearing a corncob costume. Corncobbing refers to people who refuse to accept that they have lost a debate and continue to insist otherwise.
Hey, Billy. This is David Wall, Jacob's dad. Hey, we noticed you're back at it on Twitter again, sending out defamatory, actionable tweets, complete lies about Jacob. I'm
Stop having your dad fight for you.
Wits end with you. We are going to file suit. We're going to serve you at your address, apartment. We're done messing around with you. So you can delete those tweets immediately, or you'll be served with suit very quickly. So it's your choice, Bill, William, whatever your name is. But
I hope you kept them up.
There was one profile that had me in what looked like I was wearing a corn costume, like a corn.
Oh, what?
A piece of corn.
That's
One
fucking
of Jacob's
silly.
tactics
It's
to
so
solicit
goofy.
investors was to hire models off of Craigslist to reel them in.
How
Jacob
does
would
that
bring
help?
these women along to investment conferences, get
How
them
is that
to flirt
helpful?
with investors. And when an investor took the bait, then Jacob would swoop
I'll fuck
in
you if you
and
invest
make a
in
pitch.
Jacob's company.
Jacob hosted a number of websites such as wallgirls.com and MelanieRiosManagement.com, which is the name of a porn star. The main records show that he also registered buyabadbitch.com and buyaslut.com.
Hey, Jacob's a lot of things, but a liar he is not. This man is really committing to it. Buyabadbitch.com. Is that shit still live? And then buy a slut. Why would you ever go to buy a slut when buy a bad bitch is already out there? Feels like they compete with each other. How does this even help too? I want to buy a bad bitch. Oh, you mean in order to buy a bad bitch, I have to somehow put my money into Jacob's company? Oh. Sure.
He told the Daily Beast, quote, "Fake websites and Craigslist ads were posted by trolls of mine in 2016, and I immediately reported them to the FBI. Wallgirls.com featured a section called Wall Girl of the Month. Sometime in the summer of 2016, Jacob uploaded a photograph of a young woman without her consent and described her as one of the newest additions to the agency. That young woman's mother told the Daily Beast
Must
that
have been a
Jacob
troll.
reached out to her daughter, representing himself as a social media manager of Instagram models.
Oh my God.
To make her famous. Jacob then used her photos on wallgirls.com and made her a wall girl of the month.
Yucky.
He eventually took her photos down after her mother called him and told him to do so.
Okay, so at this point, he's banned from the NFA for life, and now Arizona's got him on fraud and misrepresentation charges. I remember going through that whole event. He had been sort of brazen. He was supposed to meet with regulators, and then he posts pictures of himself on Twitter with Instagram models going to Las Vegas. I mean, he was just doing brazen defiance of regulatory authority.
Well, when you're
And then
Jacob,
Arizona,
bro, you're above the law.
he'd ultimately find the police would get him as well out of California. But then Arizona got him. I thought that was going to be the end of him.
On September 27, 2016, the Securities
How are we
Division
only
of
in
the
2016
Arizona
with this
Corporate
guy?
Commission filed its temporary order to cease and desist and notice of opportunity for hearing against Jacob Wall and his partner, Matthew Johnson,
Things a bit stoic.
barring them from activities in the state. The Arizona Corporate Commission's investigation began after David Diedrich, the same man who sparked the NFA investigation, filed a complaint. This would be the last time that David Diedrich would file a complaint against Jacob Wall. He later committed suicide. How much it had to do with being defrauded by Jacob Wall is unknown.
Sure, yeah. So
Well, I got
Arizona
really
investigates
sad.
him for
Jesus Christ.
security sales. He ends up, I believe, pleading out or essentially cutting a deal where he's going to owe tens of thousands of dollars that he still years later hasn't paid back. The most interesting one comes in, I believe, 2019 when Jacob is indicted in California for unlawful security sales over this really kind of tortured story of a guy an adult who seemingly kind of bought into Jacob's hype and lent him tens of thousands of dollars.
I'll never be able to wrap my head around that.
Invested this money through Jacob, and it basically turned out it was all a con, according to the charging documents. And this guy is like, "Oh crap, I need to get my money back," and then the money has disappeared, and so this guy ends up killing himself. And so Jacob has been charged in that case.
May or may not be
Arizona
correlated.
Corporate Commission's filing named 4 investors
Probably didn't
who
help.
were victims of Jacob's alleged fraud, false or deceptive claims, and bad acts. David Diedrich was the only investor with a given name on the filing. The rest are referred to as Investor 2, 3, and 4. Investor 2 gave Jacob and NEX Capital a $20,000
good
check
idea,
in early
lasagna.
December 2015, but stopped payment of the check she had tendered to NEX Capital a month later when she suspected foul play. Investor 3, like Diedrich, contacted Jacob in March 2015 after seeing him on television. Investor 3 gave Jacob $5,000
that sounds about right.
after being led to believe that he would receive a high rate of return if he invested. By January 2015, Jacob only returned a check worth nearly $3,000. When Investor 4 contacted Jacob on July 18, 2016, she had just received an inheritance of $100,000. She found a Craigslist ad for Jacob's house-flipping investment firm called Montgomery Assets, which Jacob started to focus his attention on after being banned from trading derivatives. On the phone, Jacob told her, quote, "Montgomery Assets is quite a large firm. Not ultra-large, it's not Goldman Sachs, it's not Wells Fargo, but you know, it's got a nice solid team." He told her that the firm had 30 years of experience and had been around for a while. Despite
I didn't even know you could find this kind of shit on Craigslist. Oh, let me look at something real quick. I've only ever bought physical items. I didn't know I could find a business like this. What would let me see. Let's see. Now, do they mean like Craigslist ad, like maybe he paid for something on the side of the site? Or quite literally like a real Craigslist ad, like, hey, your money's going to be good with me for this? I have immediately found one almost exactly like it, I think. Yeah, in the jobs and services. I've never even gone there. I didn't even know it existed. I thought you could like only sell items. Well, I knew you could sell services. Like I always knew about like the dark side of Craigslist and shit where you could arrange for sex and shit through it. I guess I just never really thought about the jobs side. That's crazy. I mean, if you're putting that kind of money into something you saw on Craigslist as an investment, you were really asking for it.
Made the company only a few months prior. Additionally, Wall was only 18 years old at the time, and his partner Matthew Johnson, 27 years old. Perhaps sensing that the investment promises Jacob Wall was making were too good to be true, Investor 4 never sent him a check. The Arizona Corporation Commission charged him and his companies with 14 counts of securities fraud. The commission found that neither Wall nor his companies were licensed as a broker and therefore were not permitted to provide investment advice or register to offer and sell securities in Arizona. Additionally, they found that Jacob Wall repeatedly misrepresented the size of his companies and the risk associated with investments. Jacob Wall consented to fines and penalties assessed by the Arizona Corporation Commission later that year. Now, he could have went to prison for securities fraud if he didn't agree to file a consent decree. Instead, he was only fined. However, to this day, Jacob Wall still hasn't paid his fines.
Oh.
The ACC is now working with the Arizona Attorney General's office to pursue collection efforts against Jacob Wall. On October 23, 2017, the ACC held an open meeting in which the board questioned Jacob Wall's lawyers about the outstanding payments and if Wall would ever pay his fines.
Can I make one comment?
Before you do.
Okay.
Commissioner Dunn, are you comfortable with that?
No, I think we should ask the
just tell him no.
That his client is willing to agree to this. I'm wrestling with this too. If there's been a second default of payment on this, I'm wondering why we're going through this exercise and why you think your client is going to be able to make payment just on a later date if he's not able to make a payment today.
I do not believe that there was an original
In July 2016, Jacob Wall was contacted by undercover authorities posing as a real estate agent and as a client who wanted to invest money. After multiple conversations, Jacob Wall asked
this dude's whole life was
$100,000 with his
scamming.
house-flipping company, Montgomery Assets, and guaranteed a 17% return of investment. 3 years later, on August 19, 2019, a warrant was issued by the Riverside County DA's office for Jacob Wall's arrest for one count of violating the California Corporations Code by selling an unregistered security. That same day, Jacob was taken into custody. He pleaded not guilty and is currently awaiting a settlement hearing.
So when is the BDSM shit coming?
COVID-19. Jacob's dad, David Wall, said, "The district attorney never bothered to talk to Jacob. If they did, I don't believe the case would have been filed.
I'm very disappointed given my 30 years of experience with that office. Jacob has zero criminal history and was shocked by this as well. According to David Wall, Jacob learned about the warrant for his arrest through the media. Okay, last but not least, Jacob Wall was investigated by the SEC. Jacob Wall was the subject of an investigation by the United States Security and Exchange Commission. The SEC concluded that they found no grounds for enforcement action.
What?
However, Victoria Levin, an assistant regional director in the SEC's enforcement division, stated that their conclusion must in no way be construed as indicating that the party has been exonerated or that no action may ultimately result from the staff's investigation.
What does the SEC do then?
In an email, Jacob Wall told Benzinga.com that, quote, "I know very well I have never done anything illegal or immoral."
Everything I've ever heard about the SEC is how useless they are. Have they ever done anything helpful? I feel like I've looked this up on stream 3 or 4 times now. Did I ever conclude that they've ever find a case that they've actually helped with or done anything useful with? How about this? Times SEC. Let's see. Oh, on their website. SEC accomplishments. Oh, look at this. They're gloating a couple of their big wins. Oh man, that's huge. How about something outside of the SEC's own ass kissing? SEC had to ban Pornhub on their servers because literally everyone was just watching porn during work hours. What? Thanks to be some swag daddy. Is that real? Oh well, I don't know what I was expecting. I typed in SEC porn, and all I get is Pornhub X videos and shit like that. Let me click news. April 23rd, 2010. SEC staffers watched porn as economy crashed. And then in 2021, a follow-up. The Pornhub SEC meme was real, and then there was a link to proof. So apparently there was some kind of epidemic at the SEC where their workers were constantly watching porn. Several senior staffers. So I guess it's a little insincere to claim everyone was, but it seems several senior staffers were watching a lot of porn. So needless to say, they're fucking killing it. SEC is good. They're doing a good job, I guess.
You serious?
Before I talk about how Jacob Wall pivoted from a life of petty financial fraud into becoming a political smear merchant, I'd like to introduce you to his partner, Jack Berkman.
I totally forgot there was another actor here with them. There's no way Jack Berkman's story is as interesting as Jacob's.
Grid, our former Clinton White House staffer David Goodfriend, and Jack Berkman, attorney at J.M. Berkman & Associates. And you know how it works, guys. 20 seconds to make your case, and then we go at it after that. Jack, you probably don't even need 20 seconds to tell us why you don't think it should be expanded.
Jack Berkman was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Strangely, he has not publicly disclosed his exact birthday, but he was likely born in either 1965 or 1966.
He's part of the secret space program.
After graduating from Georgetown
comes
with
full
a law
circle.
degree, he enjoyed quite an accomplished professional career beginning in the 1990s. He worked for Rick Lazio, a New York congressman, as his legislative counsel. Following that, he worked as a lobbyist and later joined the prestigious firm Holland & Knight. After that, he started his own lobbying firm, J.M. Berkman & Associates, which prospered. However, midway through the 2010s, Jack Berkman became bored with lobbying. For some reason, he decided that what he really wanted was media attention at any cost. In 2014, he gained the attention he desired by saying he wanted openly gay football players banned from the NFL after Michael Sam, who at the time was a college football star, announced that he was gay.
Now, local lobbyist Jack Berkman plans to propose legislation banning gay athletes from joining the National Football League. Tonight we have Jack live in the newsroom. Jack, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Good evening.
Good evening. So what is this about,
So
Jack?
what the fuck is up with that, Berkman?
Stunt.
No, hardly a stunt. It's about restoring common decency, Mike.
Jack's brother James, who's gay, denounced his actions with a tweet stating that he was being an ass. Soon, Jack's campaign to ban gays from the NFL fizzled. But according to his brother James,
he got exactly what he wanted: attention. In 2016, Jack Berkman gained media attention again by inserting himself in Seth Rich's murder investigation.
Now to our top story. An Omaha family is grieving tonight after their son was shot and killed in Washington, D.C. over the weekend.
Seth Rich was born and raised in Omaha. He worked for the Democratic
Why would
National
Berkman be
Committee
part
in
of this?
DC.
Seth Rich was a 27-year-old DNC staffer who was shot on early Sunday morning on July 10, 2016, while walking home from a bar. A police investigation suspected that he was the victim of a botched robbery, but dubious rumors spread that he was assassinated for leaking Hillary Clinton's emails. Jack Berkman offered a $130,000 reward to anyone with information about Seth Rich's murder. He posted flyers announcing the reward around the Bloomingdale neighborhood where Seth Rich was shot. He also contacted Seth Rich's family and held a press conference with them.
Hi, I'm Jack Berkman. Today I want to talk to you about something very important, the murder of Seth Rich. As you may know, I have formed an independent commission to investigate this murder, but we need more information.
Why?
We need to hear from you. Please check
Why would you
out
tell
our website,
fucking Jack Berkman?
whokilledseth.com.
But soon, his relationship with the family
He's gonna be nothing but
soured.
lies.
They called him a publicity seeker and were especially disturbed by his decision to film a reenactment of Seth Rich's murder.
Save your breath. Turn around. Walk. Walk. You don't want to do anything. What are you doing?
Deciderman. Wow, Berkman. You've really done it. Did Darman make this? Somehow Jack Berkman is goofier than
contact
Jacob.
with him shortly after that. Jack Berkman continued to investigate the murder. He teamed up with a former Marine named Kevin Doherty to help solve the case. The two later had a falling out, and Kevin Doherty shot him twice in the ass and tried to run him over with a car.
Berkman says he went to the Keybridge Marriott's parking garage to pick up documents from someone he thought was an FBI whistleblower. But this is where things get interesting.
I wasn't expecting anything bad. And bang, 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 I feel 2 shots in my leg.
Then the police say Berkman was hit with an SUV.
By some miracle, a girl who was on the second floor there,
What?
staying there, flung open the window and screamed, and that's probably what saved my life because he then reversed course, skedaddled.
This guy's like living fanfic. And then everyone clapped. Holy shit. Yeah, somehow Jack Berkman is goofier than Jacob. And fucking substantially so. Hopefully he also claims that he did Secret Service work or part of the Secret Space program, something like I can't talk about my training. In fact, I was actually about to kill the driver of the SUV myself, but the lady flung open the windows and I didn't want to subject her to such trauma after I ripped his head from his shoulders, so I let him drive away.
Hang on, you said there's a lot of young people your age that are sort of closeted Trump supporters. Tell me about them. You're 18.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that, sort of
Easy
support
to give
Trump.
Deciderman,
They're not
recent
very
Jason,
vocal about
Prime
it.
Maker.
And, you see in this case, Cruz has this, very real penchant towards lying, very Hillary-esque.
He's sick, right?
And he's being called out for it.
So where does a spurious crook go after being banned from training securities at the age of 19? Well, the world of online politics, where grifters with the morality of executioners tend to shine. The wave of Donald Trump spawned many online personalities bereft of any qualifications other than a Twitter account and an ability to pander to all things MAGA. The movement was littered with unscrupulous characters like Candace Owens, who emerged on the scene after she identified the earning potential of the Trump bandwagon, despite the fact that she ran a site doxing trolls who made offensive comments online that exact same year. It's likely that Jacob Wall witnessed the rise of people like Candace Owens and wanted a piece of the pie. It was around 2017 that Jacob Wall made this career pivot. Instead of presenting himself as a financial guru, he decided to become an online political commentator. He started live streaming on YouTube, recording a podcast, and he created a blog called The Washington Reporter, which branded itself as a producer of independent journalism and hard-hitting investigative reports. And it was later discovered that his website's code of ethics was directly plagiarized from ProPublica. A simple way to look at how he marketed himself at this time is just to look at his Twitter bio.
He's busy having sex.
His Twitter account featured a bio that read, Trumponomics expert, financial and political commentator. His banner was a photo of him posing with Donald Trump at a photo op.
How rich was his dad?
Well,
God damn.
his father, David Wall, was a Donald Trump surrogate, which is probably how he got the opportunity to meet the former president. Jacob grew his Twitter following by rapidly responding to all of Donald Trump's tweets with sycophantic praise. His over-the-top fawning caught the eyes of the former president. Donald Trump retweeted Jacob Wall back when it was uncharacteristic for him to do so. And I gotta say, this was very, very uncharacteristic for Donald Trump to do at the time. He never retweeted anybody. But here he was retweeting Jacob Wall. And that got him a lot of attention. So much attention that articles were written about Jacob Wall, wondering who he was. It was after being retweeted by Donald Trump that Jacob declared, "I will further the president's agenda at all costs, and I won't apologize for it." So basically, Jacob Wall was Donald Trump's #1 bootlicker, reply guy, ass kisser. Perhaps you're not familiar with the term reply guy.
When does he start doing the BDSM?
It's fairly self-explanatory. It's someone who constantly replies to someone else's tweets. Before Donald Trump was suspended from Twitter, there were several accounts that you'd always see in his replies. These people tended to be either Trump devotees or Trump detractors. So they'd reply to every single tweet that Donald Trump made and gain thousands of likes and thousands of followers doing so. It was an incredibly effective way to grow a brand. Perhaps their intentions were sincere, but it's clearly a strategy that many use to gain exposure. Take the Krasenstein brothers, for example.
Who?
Two brothers from Florida who amassed hundreds of thousands of followers by replying to every Donald Trump tweet with some variation of Orange Man bad. Like Jacob Wall, the Krasensteins had a history of fraud before getting into online politics. The Department of Justice seized over $500,000 of their money and assets because they ran a Ponzi scheme and committed wire fraud. Years later, the Krasenstein brothers became lightning rods of the #resistance to Donald Trump movement. And they basically used this to grow a following and make money. They made an anti-Trump children's book called How the People Trumped Ronald Plump. And they also made a website called Hill Reporter. But their success was a flash in the pan. Soon they were booted off Twitter in 2019 for operating multiple fake accounts and purchasing account interactions. Jacob Wall and the Krasensteins are two sides of the same coin. Opportunists. Opportunists with a history of fraudulent activity who benefited off of people's sincere political beliefs for personal gain. And just like Jacob Wall, the Krasensteins are just seen as a big joke. Another way that Jacob Wall gained a lot of attention online were his hipster coffee shop tweets. Basically, the premise of these tweets were that he overheard liberals in a hipster coffee shop whispering about secretly supporting Donald Trump. These tweets were so widely mocked that there's a Know Your Meme page about them.
So I think Jacob's kind of breakout moment on Twitter was that he would always tweet. He came up with this kind of trope.
I never saw the coffee shop tweets, but I believe him.
At a hipster coffee shop, and it was kind of counterintuitive for what you might think would happen there. So it would be something like, and it was always like a very niche thing. It was like, I was just at a hipster coffee shop, and I heard two people talking about how thrilled they are that Trump is pulling out a trans-specific partnership. Like, it was very specific things that, like, surely you wouldn't hear this. And then he just kept tweeting it all the time. And so, it kind of became a meme on Twitter. And he, as we would later find out with other Jacob things, he has.
I don't think this guy's a psycho. I think he's just a fucking idiot who believed in. So he just never stopped thinking he was right.
He's clearly lying through his teeth.
Well, I mean, he had a whole history of scamming way before the politics.
It's unclear how Jack Berkman and Jacob Wall first met, or why they decided to create fake smears against major politicians.
Well, he had a whole
fake hedge fund. Enemies of Donald Trump. In media appearances, Jacob has given explanations ranging from meeting at pro-Trump events to him being recruited by Jack Berkman due to his investigation skills and business savvy. If cancel culture created an environment where everyone is guilty until proven innocent, then in theory, all they had to do was create a false accusation to ruin someone else's life. It's a tactic.
He's not a scammer, he's a good businessman. He is by definition a bad businessman and a scammer. He got immediately blasted and barred forever from the NFA, meaning he could never operate the hedge fund again and didn't make any money out of it aside from like the little bit he got from the first guy who ended up killing himself. So he was not only a shitty scammer, but he was also a shitty businessman too. So I don't know where you're getting that from. Like so far everything he has tried, he has failed at. As of this point. He did scam people, but he didn't make much off of it. He could still suckle his daddy's teats because his dad had so much money. And so far, that's exactly what he did. That's pretty much where he's gotten all of this position of power from, because his dad has so much money that keeps defending him. He hasn't done anything on his own yet. Successfully.
Tactic that political hatchetmen have been using throughout history. For example, the 7th president of the United States, Andrew Jackson, was accused by his political opponents of being the son of a prostitute and a black man. Baseless smear campaigns could be a very effective political tool, but as you'll soon learn, not when wielded by Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman. Pay close attention because their Robert Mueller smear was as needlessly convoluted as it was sublimely stupid.
And so in, I believe, the fall of 2018, Jack has teamed up with Jacob, and the circumstances here are still a little confusing of how they teamed up, but they team up and they say, we have a woman who was sexually assaulted by Robert Mueller maybe 10 years ago, and this is gonna be a big deal. And
they make a spectacle out of it, like the first one?
These guys as kind of like scurrilous characters,
but
they didn't think of them as like guys who are just have no credibility whatsoever, just completely gonna lie. But quickly, this thing starts to fall apart.
Oh god, I hope they did a whole song and dance out of it like the BDSM one. That's what I really want to see.
It began on October 19th, 2018. On that day, Jacob Wall tweeted, "Spoke to a prominent DC insider today who told me that there are several women prepared to make credible allegations against dirty cop Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller was a former director of the FBI and was appointed as special counsel to a highly publicized investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 election." That same day, Jack Berkman posted this video onto his Facebook page.
Hey guys, we're here to talk about Robert Mueller and his sexual abuse, and is he an alcoholic? Is he an alcoholic?
A day later, he said that he had witnesses that claimed Robert Mueller is a drunk.
It's like a car
He also said that
salesman.
he talked to 7 women who claimed to have been harassed by Robert Mueller, and that one woman might come forward.
He carries around a flask, he carries it and drinks straight booze. Even more serious, it appears that Bob Mueller has really a whole lifetime history of harassing women. We have now talked to 7 women who claim to have been harassed by Bob Mueller.
Prior to this, a woman named Lorraine Parsons emailed several reporters that a man who claimed to work for Jack Berkman offered her $20,000 and a payment of her credit card debt if she agreed to make up accusations of sexual misconduct against Robert Mueller.
I want to read a little of this. How does a bribe offer work? Damn! Offered to pay off the credit card debt down to the T. There's no way they ever think this shit would work though, right? Well, I mean, I guess it probably does at some point. But like, they could just take the money and then release the email. Like, if someone's like, Charlie, hey, I'll give you 20 grand if you say fucking Jack Berkman has a scat fetish. I know you met Jack Berkman at a hipster coffee shop one time. I'll give you 20 grand if you say you saw him go out back and he had a lady shit on him. Be like, yeah, sure, yeah. Take the 20 grand, I make my statement, and then I post this the next day. Like, what's there to protect them? I could just do both. I could have my cake and eat it too. Yeah, I mean, I guess they could send over I haven't finished reading it, so maybe there is something about an NDA at the bottom. I mean, I guess signing the affidavit, but that doesn't mean that she can't also release the email, right? Plus, maybe I misunderstand how the affidavits work. Because you could literally do both. Even if there is an NDA, it wouldn't do anything because it's illegal. Yeah, true, I guess. True. So there's really nothing they can do to cover their ass. You could just take the 20 grand and just say, they paid me to say it. And I got 20 grand.
who she said she worked with at a law firm in 1974. Now, do you remember?
Isn't accepting the bribe isn't accepting the bribe illegal? I mean, I guess making a false statement would be, but if you could just prove that you were coerced into it, and then just say, they forced me to take the 20 grand too, it's like, there's plenty of wiggle room. You could absolutely make a case. Though, I mean, it is obviously cleaner just to not do it, but if you just really want that 20 grand, you could absolutely argue the shit out of it.
Remember how I said that this smear was needlessly convoluted?
Hey, thanks for the raid, Liana.
Well, later it turned out that Lorraine Parsons
Hope you had a great stream.
didn't
Thank you for the
exist.
raid again.
She was a fabrication by Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman. And the reason they did that? Who knows? Journalists tried to contact the law firm that she said she worked at, but there was no record that she ever worked there. She said she lived in Fort Myers, Florida, but that also couldn't be corroborated. At the same time, a law professor named Jennifer Taub also received an email from a man named Simon Frick, who claimed to have worked for a firm called Surefire Intelligence. By the way, unlike Lorraine Parsons, Jennifer Taub is actually real.
You'll see something
Simon
goofy
Frick,
here
on the
soon.
other hand, was not.
Simon Frick.
The name of the email was Simon Frick, but someone named Jacob Wall.
They did the
has
same
later
scam
admitted
10
that
times.
He's behind that organization. This other person, Lorraine Parsons, no one's really sure if she exists. So what's interesting is the story broke about her because she'd been sending, or someone using that name, sending this email around to folks, and has never been able to be contacted.
identified.
Right. So it's all a very strange situation.
Anyway, Simon Frick offered her payment to speak about past encounters she might have had with Robert Mueller. Jennifer Taub has never met Robert Mueller. After receiving the email, she reported it to the FBI, and they started an investigation.
After I found out about the Lorraine Parsons situation, I began to wonder whether they had reached out to me because I had written an opinion piece about.
Hey, well, thank you, Trash. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
My own personal experience.
Hope you had a good Valentine's Day.
With sexual assault. So perhaps they read that and thought, well, she wrote about this. Maybe she'll make up stories.
The firm, Surefire Intelligence, which Simon Frick said he worked for, was a bogus private intelligence agency made up by Jacob Wall.
Does it still exist? Can I hire someone from the Surefire Intelligence Agency to investigate for me? Let's see. Oh my god, it's still around, baby. In all its glory. It's a private intel agency. Who we serve. No one specific, just general statements. Who we serve, law firms, financial institutions, international corporations, and high net worth individuals. But like, who specifically? Who we serve, God. Case studies. Wow. Yeah, I might have to, maybe I'll have to hire them. Give them a case to solve? I mean, obviously there's no one actually running the site anymore since Jacob is in hot water. But hey, maybe when he gets out of jail in 20 years or something, he could check and be like, alright, time to actually use Surefire Intelligence. Oh, looks like Charlie's got a case from back in 2022. Nice.
The day before the press conference, they say, we had this investigated by this company called Surefire Intelligence. It's like a very elite, spy service essentially, but not quite. Someone called Surefire Intelligence's phone number, which went to Jacob's mom's voicemail.
Thanks, Schwalbe.
Suggesting that Jacob was in fact behind it. A lot of the pictures of Surefire Intelligence employees were in fact actors and models that he clearly just pulled. It was like Bar Raffaelli, like Leonardo DiCaprio's ex-girlfriend. And in fact, the picture of the head of Surefire Intelligence on his LinkedIn, if you brightened it, it was just a picture of Jacob. It was like a very shadowy picture, and it's just a picture of him. So clearly the scheme had already kind of...
That's such a Jacob thing to do.
Jacob Wall set up Surefire Intelligence as an LLC a month before the Mueller smear. But he used it before then to scam people out of petty amounts of money and to pick up girls. Jacob had a history of using the alias Michael Cohen. As Michael Cohen, Jacob presented himself as a 25-year-old Harvard dropout an ex-Mossad agent who was the leader of Surefire Intelligence. Prior to the Mueller smear,
cool.
Jacob made Craigslist
Definitely got some
advertisements
pussy out of
offering
that.
private investigation services through Surefire Intelligence. And some people took the bait. A young woman named Julian Adams found an advertisement on Craigslist for Surefire Intelligence's services and gave Jacob $1,200 to recover her stolen Hummer, which she had lived out of for the previous 2 years. To Julian, Surefire Intelligence seemed legit.
How?
It had a sleek website, an impressive roster of investigators, and there was a Medium post about it called Surefire Intelligence, the CIA for hire for the rich and famous. The Medium post claimed that Surefire was made up of a staff of ex-Mossad agents, which included forensic accountants, former intelligence professionals of various nationalities, cyber specialists, and a translator fluent in 8 languages. The article was written by Evan Goldman, who claimed to be an Israeli journalist covering the shadowy world of private intelligence. Unsurprisingly, Evan Goldman did not exist. Evan Goldman was just another example of a fictitious identity created by Jacob Wall. A reverse Google image search showed that
how did this guy even have time
stolen
to
from
get
a model
laid
named Oren Katan.
when he made 1,000 fake sites and
Carolyn
people?
Cass was also duped by Jacob Wall and Surefire Intelligence. Carolyn had fallen on hard times after being swindled by her trust fund officer and then being scammed out of her inheritance by a social media manager who promised to make her a pop star. After filing a case against the social media manager, she sought out a private investigator. So she looked on Craigslist. There she found Surefire Intelligence and a man named Michael Cohen, which was Jacob Wall's alias.
Who
Jacob
goes
agreed
to
collect dirt
Craigslist
on the
for this
social media
shit?
manager and charged Carolyn $2,000 for his services. Carolyn pawned the title of her car to pay him. Several weeks later, Jacob informed her that he was going to drop the case as it was too expensive for him to proceed. Despite her disappointment, she didn't complain. Perhaps because by then, the two had already formed a romantic relationship. They dated for several months. For most of the time that they were together, Carolyn believed that Jacob was Michael Cohen, who was a Harvard dropout and ex-Mossad agent. On October 30th, 2018, Jack Berkman announced that he'd reveal the first of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's sexual assault victims at a press conference to be held on November 1st, 2018 at the Rosslyn Holiday Inn.
On Thursday, high noon, at the Holiday Inn right here in Arlington, Virginia, right behind me, only about 1,000 yards that way, we will unveil the first of the
Thank God he's making it a spectacle.
Jacob Wall made a similar announcement on his Twitter. By then, many journalists were already onto their ruse. They already discovered Surefire Intelligence's connections to Jacob Wall. Even though everyone knew that they were the ones behind the Robert Mueller smear, Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman denied any wrongdoing and declared that they would still go forward with the press conference. The Gateway Pundit, a website that's known for promoting fringe conspiracy theories, interviewed Wall and Berkman and released a video that's since been scrubbed from the internet. During the interview, the duo claimed that their allegations were credible and well vetted. They provided the Gateway Pundit with a document which they said proved the allegations against Robert Mueller, and the document was published onto the site. Hours later, the Gateway Pundit removed the document, recanted the story, and announced that they would investigate Jacob Wall. With Wall and Berkman's smear already debunked before they held a press conference, you'd think that they'd have a great plan up their sleeve to make the whole thing seem legitimate.
We'll just do the press conference, as is.
Instead, they proceeded to mess up even more.
Fuck yeah.
The person they chose to pose as Robert Mueller's victim was none other than Caroline Cass, the Texas oil heiress I spoke about earlier, who was romantically involved with Jacob Wall. One night while speaking to Jacob on the phone, Caroline told him that she'd been date raped by a former employer in a hotel room several years prior. Naturally, Jacob consoled her and thanked her for trusting him enough to share that with him, right? No, that's not what he did. Instead of doing what someone with a soul would do, Jacob used the details of her story to write a script for her to read at the press conference where she would accuse Robert Mueller of sexual assault. Jacob offered her $50,000 to make the false allegation and promised to give her an alias so that her real name would never be mentioned to the press. Moreover, he assured her that he was in contact with other Mueller victims who were hesitant to come forward. She believed that she would be the catalyst for them to do so and would be hailed as a hero as a result. Before traveling to the press conference, Carolyn Cass saw a story on her newsfeed that was about Wall and Berkman. Still under the impression that his name was Matthew Cohen, she asked him who Jacob Wall was. He then told her that he didn't know.
Yeah, no,
At the
Jacob Wall
airport,
doesn't
the
exist.
ticketing agent referred to him as Jacob
The boogeyman.
after seeing his ID. She questioned him once again, and he told her that it was just an alias that he was using for the day. She finally realized that Michael Cohen was Jacob Wall after seeing him look at his social media while she pretended to be asleep on the plane.
How did
When they
she
landed
never
in Washington,
once see
Caroline
that?
escaped, booked a flight to New York, and called him to tell him that she wouldn't go through with the press conference. Although Wall and Berkman had promised to bring forward an accuser, they decided to go ahead with the press conference despite not having one. The documentary After Truth, Disinformation and the Cost of Fake News features a segment that follows Wall and Berkman on the day of the press conference. I can't show you clips from it because of copyright, but I'll put the link in the description below.
That is so fucking baffling to me how
And,
people
you know, I think there
wouldn't
were
pick
still
up
some
on
people
that.
who were, you know,
When it only took one
you don't want to
time
round
that his
something,
ID
you know.
got looked at and she heard the name Jacob.
And so the big question was who this woman was going to be, and so they had kept her identity secret. And then, you know, there were some flaws already in their
Is it prime
timeline of when this
decimal?
happened. But they get up there and they don't have their accuser, and I say, well, where's the accuser? And they say, well, she got so many death threats, you know, she didn't want to come. And I said, well, none of us know her name. And then, you know, so HBO had them mic'd up. And then they go down the hall and they say, oh, geez, that's a really good point. You know, I guess we need to change our lie-up. So then they come up, and this thing is just a disaster of a press conference. Their accuser doesn't show. She later says they put her up to it, and it's all lies. She had been dating Jacob. It's a very kind of twisted story. Jacob, they have an affidavit that they release with her name, but it's misspelled throughout. Kind of disastrously, Jack's fly is down the whole time during the press conference, which, you know, people are tweeting his flies down, all this stuff, you know. And yeah, it was a big mess. I mean, someone in the crowd.
I wish he was just hanging dong.
We'll take one more question. And
Just no one told him though.
Are you ready to go to prison? And I said, oh, you know. And so they kind of essentially have to flee their own press conference. So yeah, I would say Jacob's first big foray into politics did not go great.
After the smear fell apart, surprisingly, Carolyn Cass became involved in a relationship with Jacob Wall once again.
Whoa.
He never told her why he lied about his identity, and he never repaid the money he bilked from her. Despite that, they continued their relationship for the next few months until Jacob dumped her because he didn't want to tell his friends that he was dating a 34-year-old. That's when she decided to tell her story to the press. There's a great article written by Lexi
What a
Mandel
weird reason.
that goes over Carolyn Cass's story.
Because you
in far
usually
more
just date
detail.
high schoolers?
The link is in the description box below. So that's it for part
I
one
can't
of this
believe
series.
that's just
In
part
two, I'll
one.
cover Wall and Berkman's several other smears. Believe it or not, things even get crazier, so stay tuned for that. In the
That's
meantime, check
fucking
out my
nuts.
Patreon. For only $1, you'll get early access to my future videos 2 days before I upload them to YouTube. To keep tabs on what I'm up to, follow me on Twitter. I also have an Instagram and a subreddit. Links are in the description box below. That's it for now, and until next time.
Watch it, please. It's already 2 a.m. Maybe next time. I'm gonna send Oki a message, though. This one was a fucking banger. Oki just doesn't miss.